Oh, boy. You know, if any of you tuned into the post-game show yesterday, I told many people, do not tune in today. Do not tune in today. Because some of the things we're going to say, you're probably not going to like. There are a lot of things you should like on what that performance was yesterday. There's a ton of things that you should like on what you saw yesterday. By the way, we are powered for the next 4 hours with our great friends at BetUS. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button. All supers go to the top. We started out with big sales, and we appreciate you here on a big-time football Monday. How you doing there? Khalid, old man Sills. Yeah, well, you better buckle up, Khalid. It was really a horrible NFL wildcard weekend. Those games all sucked just about, except for the nighttime game between the Commanders and the Buccaneers. That was a pretty good football game. I think there was a lot of drama, though, that we saw in the wildcard weekend. There was a lot of drama, okay? Eagles versus Packers, not a very good football game, but a lot of drama in the football game. And I'm going to make this comment and this commentary right out of the gate. I want people to stop doing this. Okay? I do. James Jones, Big Sills, we got Baker's ass. No doubt. Commanders move on and will play the Detroit Lions in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. Eagles get the winner of tonight's game, Rams and Vikings. By the way, the National Football League is talking about having a different playoff format than what we see here because there's so many teams with winning records and, you know, you don't get rewarded for having a great season. You get rewarded for winning your division. And divisions sometimes are just not better than the other divisions. And I completely agree. I think the best records should be seeded, not because you won a division. I don't believe that at all. Look at the NFC South. Would you really look at the NFC South and go, the NFC South, any team that played in the NFC South, I think the Bears could contend in that division. Let's get this party started. Flexing and stepping. How you doing, brother? Stop with this commentary about Hurts being a winner. He does everything on the planet to make that commentary not a reality. That team yesterday did not win because of the quarterback. In no way are they winning ball games because of the quarterback. Stay tuned for AJ News Show, Reading with Divas. I love it. That guy does not give you, all he does is win. So wait a minute. All he does is win and play like shit. Okay. He does everything to dispel that comment that all he does is win. So Jalen Hurts can play like shit and all he does is win. Okay. He's Brad Johnson. He's Trent Dilfer. He's nobody special. I saw special over the weekend. I saw Josh Allen. I saw Lamar. Those are I saw Jaden Daniels. Those are special players. Jalen Hurts is not a special player. He is not. By the way, what I'm saying to you right now, they've moved on. I'm going to get to my takeaways. We'll get to the numbers. Game balls will be throwing out too. How in the world could you sit here in 2024 and now into 25 and say that that guy was elite this year? What a fucking stupid comment. He is so far from being an upper tier quarterback. All he does is win. No, that team wins in spite of him. They win in spite of him. He's not that good. He is a solid ball player. So was Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Jeff Hostetler won a Super Bowl. That's who he is. He's just a dude. I think you can get any quarterback in the National Football League to do what that guy does and do it better. I mean, that guy hurt you yesterday. And let me give you this too. Kellen Moore yesterday, it was funny. If you watch the All-22, every single guy was covered. How in the world does Green Bay know who to cover? They were reading screens right out of the playbook. And you know what people are going to start doing? I guess it's another play caller that sucks, right? So everybody has sucked but Shane Steichen. Maybe it's the quarterback. He's predictable. And the only play in the game that he was really exceptional in was down on the goal line when he kept his poise and he kept his patience down there and he threw that touchdown pass to Dotson. That was his best play of the game. The rest of them, I thought he was garbage. He kept the Packers in the game. You know why? 3 and outs. Look at your third down efficiency. Quarterback couldn't complete anything on third down. That's not a Kellen Moore problem. That's a Jalen Hurts problem. I'm sick and tired of blaming every coordinator on the planet. And the story here, by the way, this is not an issue yet. It's not. You've advanced because you won, and you are now on to the divisional round. I'm pointing this out to you, that you keep games close because your quarterback is not very good. And by the way, I'm not debating this today. I'm not debating it. If you can't use your eye test to see it and say it, you're doing it for other reasons. You know what's funny? You go on Twitter. You know what you do? If you make a commentary against Jalen Hurts, you're getting called a racist today. That's it. Fuck that. I don't give a shit about that commentary. Could care less. This ain't going to do a race. This has got everything to do with performance. So Jalen Hurts wins. That's his metric. He does everything he can to dispel that. So the quarterback gets to play like shit, and all he does is win. They don't win because of him. They haven't won because of him since 2022. There is no way anybody on the planet who watched that game yesterday would say that. Say it with me. Jalen Hurts is a running back. He's a stinky poo quarterback. Pride bumper. Thank you, brother. Hurts blows more than a streetwalker. Yeah. Dude, he's terrible. This guy can't read a defense. I've been saying it for 3 years. They win in spite of him. Plain and simple. I'm even more emphatic on it. You just may win a Super Bowl with that shitty quarterback. Ravens won one. Bucks won one. Giants won one. You just may win with a less than average quarterback. Your passing game is awful. So much so that you have a wide receiver reading books on the sideline. Hey, look, I get reading a book prior to going out to a game to get some inspiration and some motivation. But you're so bored in a football game that you pull out because you need to be inspired because your quarterback is uninspiring. That's how I read that, and I don't give a shit how you do it. You can make every excuse on the planet. He stinks. You got a really good football team, too. That's a really good football team. They are a dominant team. They are a physical team. Their defense has been exceptional since week 12. Since week 5. It is clear the play design needs to improve. Does Hurts need to be this simple? It's a legitimate question. Dude, the play design? No, they don't. They can't design plays for a guy who's not capable of being a pocket passer. It's nothing to do with play designs. It has nothing to do with play designs. It has everything to do with the guy in the pocket. A dub is a dub in the playoffs. On to the next one. Right? Okay. Hey, by the way, you got a really good football team. You really have a good football team. The Buccaneers won a Super Bowl in spite of Brad Johnson. The Ravens won a Super Bowl in spite of Trent Dilfer. It happens. You might do it again. Nobody's saying you're not going to be, but he's never going to care. Hey, he is never going to win or look anything remotely close to Josh Allen and Lamar. And those guys may get beat in the playoffs. They don't have the team and the organization around them. The Buffalo Bills cut $70 million off their payroll. And here they are on to the next round. Can you imagine just a couple players off that roster? For Hurts, he would be in shambles. Too bad Devin White is a selfish baby. He could be starting right now for this playoff run. Agreed. Xander, I missed the super here. If we can, all supers go to the top. I promise you. We read them on the fly here. The Nakobe, we're going to get to that. The Nakobe injury is going to hurt us. His replacement did not look good. I thought he was okay at times, Oren Burks. By the way, he set the tone in that football game. Make no mistake about it. Okay? Look, you've got a really good football team. It is a run-dominant team. It is a defensive football team. And you're not the only thing that Hurts is doing great right now, he's not turning it over. How in the world? I swear to you, that game yesterday felt like it was 75-0. Then you look at the scoreboard, and it's a 6-point game somewhere inside the game. If that game doesn't put this, he makes you come out on a Monday and hate your win for this reason. You know it's going to catch you. You just know that's, by the way, Seth Joyner is absolutely the biggest apologist now for Jalen Hurts I have ever seen in my life. He knows that, by the way, he knows the performance that guy had yesterday was pathetic. He knows that. But for whatever reason, and you can dissect it any way you want, he's defending him. Okay? He's defending him. Not here. Not here. We're going to give you our takeaways from the game. All right? Your quarterback is below average. And if they had a decent replacement like they did at Alabama, they would have replaced him. Like I told you a couple weeks ago, the only place that had the legitimate backup to replace Jalen Hurts was in Alabama. You know why? They had a first-round quarterback there. When they had a first-round quarterback on their roster, they replaced him. And he had only lost 2 football games. They replaced him with Tua. Ravens only had 3 more completions and 30 more passing yards than us. Barkley would have had the same amount of rushing yards as Henry if he didn't slide. How about what that guy just said right there? And look at the talent level that the guy has in Baltimore. No Zay Flowers. He's got Mark Andrews, and all he has are dudes. He's got Derrick Henry. By the way, if Derrick Henry had signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, he'd have 3,000 yards. Shaq Barrett came out of retirement, left Miami to hit this Buck playoff run and has bounced first round against the Commanders. Okay? Hey, Xander, I missed one. I missed the super. Please hit the like button here. Appreciate you guys very much. Thank you so much. By the way, I'm going to keep saying this. You got a great football team. Do you think it's possible that they know how good of a team they are, so they coach him not to throw it unless it's 100% sure it's open? Yes. That's why they limit his throws. Xander, I think I missed the super chat. I don't care what people say in here today, really. I don't. You can defend it all you want. Your eyeball test, all you're doing is You're making excuses for a shitty quarterback. Hurts plays on the same delayed reaction of a low-budget action film from the 80s. He goes into his throw motion, and the ball comes out 5 seconds late. How is it that the backups look more fluid with minimal snaps than this $50 million quarterback? We should expect more from elite level money than settling for this. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. After this one, Xander, I missed the super. Yeah, how is it that our backups look more fluid and minimal snaps than the $50 million quarterback? We should expect more from elite level money than settling for this. Absolutely. I missed, I think, a blue one, or I missed the super here. Okay, listen. You have a good football team. You have a good team. You have a team that can win this. As long as your quarterback doesn't get in the way, you can win this. Keep Jalen Hurts as far out of big play opportunities, and you are going to win. Don't give him the chance to blow the game, and you can win it in spite of him. Yes, you're good. Don't take any chances. Nick Foles needs to sign a 3-game contract. Let me get to my takeaways here. Hey, dude, I'm going to keep reiterating it and keep banging on it. You have a good team. You have a good team. I saw that, and you know what? I'm not debating this about Justin Herbert's performance. He did not play well. Name me one player on that team that could start in Philly. One. Name me one fucking player that could start in that offensive huddle. One. Name me one player that could start in Detroit. One player. You're as good as the people around you when you're a quarterback and elevating. You think Jalen Hurts elevates that offense? You got a guy on the sidelines reading a fucking book. Feels like totally agree. I'd love to see Tanner with the starters. He's not ready yet. He is just not ready. Supers go to the top. Sills, the primary issue is that we can't trust that if this team needs Hurts to bail them out, he'll be able to do it. Hurts isn't holding us back, but he is preventing us from fulfilling and utilizing the talents on the team. That's my bitch. Totally is, Bob. Dude, honestly, Tanner can't be as worse than Hurts. He's an awful pocket passer. How come nobody says that? Only guy saying it's me. He's an awful pocket passer. Green Bay had every guy covered. You know why? They know what he is. He is so defendable. He makes it predictable. How do you have a coordinator each and every single year now? Brian Johnson faced the same shit. Now Kellen Moore's facing the same shit. When do you come to the conclusion you're winning in spite of this dude? Man, how about this? Don't use one fucking stat. Don't use one fucking stat. How did you think he played? Ask yourself that. Seals, the Eagles were to fall behind 14 halfway through the second quarter. Jalen good enough to come back? Hell no. Let me do this. I won't even read you his stats. How do you think he played? Give me a grade on how well you think he played. Just saying. How well do you think he played? Once Hurts loses his legs, it's over. I feel like he's already showing signs he's losing those legs. Hey, dude, if Jalen Hurts ever got his legs hurt, he's not an NFL quarterback. If Hurts has any, get this, he could sustain an arm issue and you could get away with it. He sustains a leg injury, it's over. He's not an NFL quarterback if his legs go. He's not. He's just not. Please hit the like button. I'm going to get to my takeaways. Seth said it's not about stats, it's about wins. That is the most ignorant comment you can make for an excuse for some other reason. That would mean that you're winning because of him. You're not. That stat works, or that line works if you're winning because of him. You're not winning because of him. Reading Rainbow with Sileo. Dan, you think AJ will be on the team with that Johnny Moxie varsity blue stunt with Belichick? Absolutely not. I missed that $10 super chat, Xander. Appreciate you guys all doing this today. I'm sorry. By the way, I'm going to keep saying this. Congratulations. Moving on to the second round. You have a good team with an average quarterback. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're better than good. Xander, I missed that $10 super, I believe. Guys, I appreciate it. Please hit it. AJ is more hurt than we think. I agree. I didn't see explosion. Hurts plays conservative all year because of the expectations. And you got the wrong guy. I want a guy back there. Hey, how come Jaden Daniels already looks better? The whole organization plays conservative. They are always cautious, so I am sure they preach caution to him. Jaden Daniels already looks better. He already looks better. He's gotten better since week 1. Hurts hasn't gotten better since 22 and the Super Bowl in Arizona. Let me get to the takeaways here. The defense continued 22-10. Eagles win in advance. The defense was just absolutely exceptional. Exceptional. I mean, in a playoff game against a really well-coached football team and a really good head coach, they beat that football team up physically. They did. They beat that team up. They got a formula now. Run the ball, play defense. And don't let the quarterback do anything stupid. Like turn the ball over. Hey, shit, I'd rather have this. I'd rather have no touchdowns and no turnovers than 2 touchdowns and 2 turnovers. Because if Hurts has that line, you lose. The turnovers are more important in Jalen Hurts' career than the touchdown passes are. That's where Seth Joyner's right. Dude, I want John Gruden. Got me feeling nicey. Hey, I tweeted that out. Dallas Cowboys have moved on from Mike McCarthy. I think they should hire John Gruden. You want to win? Get somebody that's competent in there. Josh Allen has stats, hasn't won shit. Your guy is nowhere in that fucking guy's league in talent. 0. Jalen Hurts is a mediocre football player next to Josh Allen. End of story. Could you imagine Jalen Hurts in Buffalo? They'd win 5 games. 5 ball games. Anybody can. I'm not talking about stats. I'm talking about a guy who could carry a football team. They win in spite of Hurts. End of story. Not changing off that. Once again, you have a great team. Congrats on moving on. Your quarterback kept the Packers in it. Okay? Oren Burke set the tone. What a great hit on the opening kickoff. That's how you get shit going. That was exceptional. Exceptional. Energy was great with the Eagle players. Everything was outstanding when it came to the energy, especially on defense. There's a Dotson sighting. Nolan Smith was special. Yes, he was. And he's continuing to get better. He was a special guy out there. Of all the players that stuck out for the Eagles yesterday, he was right there. Barkley is a horse. Plain and simple. Saquon Barkley is the heart of that football team and the engine to making that team 15-3. No exceptions. You don't win if you don't have Saquon Barkley on your football team. Or you'd look like 23, falling apart all over the place. Mr. Sills, can you elaborate more why you think Tanner's not a starter? What does he need to be a starter over Hurts? More reps, more opportunities. Right now, he's not ready. He needs more reps and more opportunity. Okay? One game is not going to make me pull Jalen Hurts. I don't give a shit how poor he played. He just needs more time, Alan. More time, more reps, more years in the league, more seeing it, and then getting the opportunity to get out there and playing. He's already a better pocket passer. I can't believe, by the way, did you see that statistic about Saquon Barkley not being touched 2 yards into the line of scrimmage? Just another tremendous ground attack by the offensive line in a playoff game. Really good. That old line is as good as it gets. The injury to Nakobe Dean. Here's going to be my commentary on Dean. Some of you may like it. Some of you may not like it. He has proven he can play. One of my evaluations of him was staying healthy. He played more ball this year than I thought he would. Because his first couple of years being in and out, they even signed him injured out of Georgia. So his propensity to get hurt every year is going to be something to continue to keep watching. Health is his biggest enemy now. He's proven he can play. He has proven he can play. But his injuries could stunt that development and him getting to the level that people think he can get to. He has proven he can play. Staying healthy now will be his biggest enemy. Okay? Will be his biggest enemy. He's been hurt every year since Georgia. And he played more football than I thought he was going to play this year. Okay? He has. Please hit the like button. I appreciate you guys here. By the way, once again, he's proven he can play. He's proven that. He's a little bit like Dallas Goedert in my eyes right now. Staying healthy. Ability is not the issue with Dallas Goedert. Okay? Availability is the issue with Dallas Goedert. That will always be the issue with Dallas Goedert. By the way, Angelo Cataldi will join us at 3:30. We're hoping to run down our friend Gary Cobb. Xander's going to join us too today, so we appreciate all of you. So if we win despite of Hurts, Kenny should win too? Who said fucking Kenny Pickett is going to be in somebody that I would want as a starting quarterback in Philadelphia? Who said that? Kenny Pickett sucks. Who in their right mind said Kenny Pickett? Who is a proponent of Kenny Pickett going in for Jalen Hurts? Idiotic. 4 turnovers. And the game was somehow close. Okay? Oh, he's saying, I see, it's a question, Ramir. So if we win in spite of Hurts, Kenny could win too? No. I don't think Kenny Pickett's good. I don't think Kenny Pickett's good. I don't know what people are seeing. And I'm not debating the quarterback's abilities anymore. I'm not debating him. Use your eyeball test. And if you want to lie to yourself on some other show where you feel better about yourselves. That's not going to happen here. You know why you didn't take advantage of the 4 turnovers to the extent of a blowout? Because you were 2 of 11 on third down because your quarterback sucked on third down. AJ was too busy reading War and Peace. As I said yesterday in the postgame, good to see Krauss and Broad grabbing my line. Not unexpected. Advance and move on. No question. You got a really good football team. Let's look at the numbers here. Hey, you have a great roster. I would say play calling, but I saw half the time Hurts was checking and calling his own plays. Maybe they gave him too much responsibility. Why would you give a quarterback check down responsibility when he can't read a defense? He is so simple that he's easy to read. Green Bay was just falling like flies because you were physical with him. Everybody on that team's great but him. Okay? Everybody on that team's great but him. Sills, that guy just wins. No, they don't win because of him. That works only if they win because of that guy. He had no responsibility in that win yesterday. None. First downs, Green Bay 17-16 Eagles. Third down, they were pathetic. Get this, passing game was so bad, your third down efficiency was awful. That's what kept them in it. They limited you to 57 plays, 121 yards passing. You know, it's funny. Xander laughs at me every day when I go 140 yards passing for him every game. People are coming up with 265. That guy will never do that. He'll do it once. He'll do it. It won't be a consistent level, though. They ran the ball for 169. Got the 4 turnovers. There's your ball game. I mean, Love was terrible. Love, get this. It's not an excuse. This is what happened. The Eagles beat him up. He lost 5 players out of the 11 by the end of the game. That's physically dominating them. His top 3 wide receivers were taken out. 2 O-linemen were taken out. Kudos. That's how you beat a team up. 20 of 33. 212, 3 turnovers. Hurts in the offensive concepts look terrible. It's not the play caller. It's the guy on the other side of the play calling. Stop with the play calling. The play callers won 15 ball games. Trifecta of bad in my eyes. Hurts, Nick, Moore, offense, not designed for Hurts. When will they learn? Clairvoy. They've won 15 games taking the ball out of the hands of the quarterback. I mean, the reason why the number one thing they don't want Jalen doing is, you know what they don't want him doing? They don't want him turning the ball over. So they limit his touches. That's what they're doing week in and week out. I mean, we're going to get to the AJ bullshit in a minute. Hurts, 13 of 21, 131, 2-0. Jacobs, I heard John McMullen say that they completely shut out and shut down Josh Jacobs. I don't buy that. Seals, can I get Jahan Dotson? You can. You got a TD. Thank you, Tony. 18 carries for 81 yards and 1 touchdown. That's not shutting him completely out. I thought he fucking was tough and showed up. He was a good ball player. They did shut that team down, but he played as hard as you could get. Being red piled by Sills, quarterback is average. Normally would disagree with you, Sills, but I agree. Hurts ain't it. Our team looks better and fluid with backups. This is telling about Hurts. No excuses. Leon, he is Brad Johnson. He's not that good. He does not enhance the huddle. Barkley, 25 carries, 119. Smitty, 4 catches, 55. Goddard, 4 and 47 and 1. AJ, 1 catch and a book review for 10 yards. Defensive players were exceptional. Hey, by the way, I knew this would be this. It all of a sudden is now Kellen Moore's fault that Jalen looks so bad. Jesus, criminy. Keep blaming everybody. I've seen more apologists in my entire life. You know, it's funny. Should Justin Herbert get killed for the way he played? Yeah. No doubt. He needs to play better, and they need to get better players around him. What's Jalen's excuse? I agree. He needs to play better. But they also need better players around him in the huddle. What's Hurts' excuse? The coach? Again? Fucking pathetic. Pathetic. Just pathetic. Okay? Pathetic. Seals, I don't disagree on Jalen Hurts, but yesterday was the perfect opportunity for this offense to impose their will by enhancing their identity. Moore did not do that, and he doesn't need Jalen Hurts to do that. Xander, somebody says we've missed Maverick's super chat. We did or we didn't, I'm not sure. Seth says it's not about stats, it's about wins. I've already fucking read that. Seth's an idiot. It's about wins. Well, they're not winning because of him. I ran into Warren Moon and asked him his take on Hurts. His response says he wins. They don't win because of him. Reed Blankenship, I told you the safeties in the pregame show had to play well. They did. Nolan Smith had the best line of anybody on the field, offensively, defensively. 8-4, 2-2. 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, 4 solos. Best game since he's been an Eagle. Dean, while he was out there, 2 TFLs, 6, 3 and 3. Solo, assist, sacks, tackles for loss. Zach Bond continues his insane year. 8-4, 0-0. For solo and for assist. What makes him fucking unbelievable is his ability to get back in coverage. I'm going to make a comparison that this is going to be the craziest thing that I've possibly said so far since I've been on the air for 40 minutes. Are you ready? That guy plays like Derek Brooks. I haven't seen a linebacker get back in coverage like that, covering people 35 yards down the field and playing the run and stopping the run since Derek Brooks. He's not as physical as Ray, but he plays like Derek Brooks. He is some ball player. I cannot believe how good this kid is. It's unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. If he had any balls, he would come on. I've offered it to him numerous times. But see, Seth is a front-running guy. You see, everything was all good and shit and everything when we were paying him. But once he doesn't work here with us any longer, he pretended to be friends with everybody at JAKIB. So I guess that's how he operates. I don't have any problems with Seth. I really don't. But, hey, I guess that's just the way people operate sometimes. It's cool. Most of the time, people operate like that in this business. So that's okay. Seth wants to get paid, and he goes and does something for someone else, and he forgets the people. That's okay. Not a problem. Can't blame Kellen. They limited the playbook because Hurts can't do what elite quarterbacks can do. Read defenses, throw the ball from the pocket. That's absolutely correct, Leon. Testing new card. Hi, Xander. Testing new card. Hey, by the way, I have no problem, zero, with Seth Joyner. I've asked him 3 times. He doesn't want, he wished me happy holidays. I wished him happy holidays. That's fine. Okay? I mean, I just didn't know that he was that kind of dude. It's cool. You see, when I'm friends with somebody, I'm friends with them. I'm not friends with them because I pay them. Game balls. No. And you should have phrased it this way. If Seth had any balls, he'd come on my show. Other way around, kid. That's right. Seth's a hustler. Saints going to be one of the dumbest franchises in sports. Trey Hendricks, Bond, CJ, Angelo, Caden Ellis, Bond, the best ball dude in Philly. Yes. Yes, Brian. Okay? Yes. Hey. No problem. No, you just know whose people's true colors are. That's fine. That's why I don't have very many friends in this business. Every one of them are almost all full of shit. I would make this comment to you. Once again, Eagles are good. Stills, can they win the Super Bowl with this formula? You're 15-3 with this formula. Since the bye, you've decided not to lean on the quarterback whatsoever. Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. Sills, would you start Burks over or Trotter? I would start Oren Burks. Burks played in the Super Bowl last year. Let's start Trotter. Okay? Hey, and by the way, Cody, that's all I've ever tried to do, my friend. Okay? Is be as transparent as I possibly can with all of you. And by the way, I'm not mad at Seth either way. I don't really care. People always expose themselves. Character exposes themselves. Always. Most of the time when things are not going well, they expose themselves. And then like John Madden says, who to row out to sea with. It's cool. I just signed up for AJ's book club. Can't wait. Yeah. War and Peace. I don't give a fuck what he's reading. How embarrassing and how disrespectful to his quarterback you could possibly be. How disrespectful. That's 9. What an asshole move on the sidelines. Reading a book. What are you going to do next? Your toenails? Get a pedicure? I meant no disrespect. Shut the fuck up. It's a playoff game. You're all focused. He had to have, you know why he did that? because he needed some of the focus on him because he only had one catch. What a baby. I thought this guy was all about winning. Oh, wait, it's all about winning his way, not about winning team way. Okay? And then he'll get in the huddle, or he'll get in front of all the lackey Philadelphia media people. By the way, you have the weakest people outside of John McMullen and a few other guys like Marcus Hayes that are the softest people covering a team I've ever seen. Have the Eagles beat the Philly media up so bad that basically you drink Similac when you show up to NovaCare. You drink breast milk. I mean, Angelo Cataldi will join us at 3:30. The Philly media today drinks breast milk. The Vikings will probably be our next opponent. Flores will have so many blitz packages, Jalen Hurts' brain will become a math equation. Run the ball at him. Just run the ball at him. Get this. I don't even care about Jalen Hurts. Hey, I'll tell you this. Sue in here to appease her. I don't give a shit about his stats. I cared how he looked. That guy looked like shit yesterday. And you know it. You just won't admit it. He looked like shit. And you went in spite of him. All he does is win. Not because of you, dude. Hey, Xander, send Gary Cobb, please, a text or a link for 4:30. Get this. Let's do one thing before we move on to game balls here. How do you think Jalen Hurts looked yesterday? So Angelo Cataldi, 3:30, Gary Cobb, 4:30. How do you think he looked? You will see the clowns, you'll see the pretenders, and you'll see people who actually are football fans and love the team of the. You'll see the people who love the Eagles the most. Watch this. Jalen's going to have a hard time against the Vikings. Tony lost. Jack, not good. Kellen didn't help. C, only because he didn't turn it over. Okay? That's a great take. That's a great take. Probably hey, that's right, a C. Because he did not turn it over. I'm going to buy that. B+. Are you fucking drunk? Tony says he looked lost. Brody, D. He wasn't great, but did enough. C. Okay? D. M. Reyes goes clean game, B. This guy thinks 39 yards in the first half. He gave him a B. Hit 80 in the second. Oh, my God. Too much. I knew this was going to be here. I knew it would be Kellen's fault. What's the other one? What's the excuses I brought up? Rust would be a problem, right? That would be a problem. He looked like he was still in the concussion protocol. Oh, man. Oh, my. A winner. Hey, wait a minute. A winner. There's that fucking stupid line. They don't win because of him. I'll tell you that. They win in spite of him. That line only works when it's you are the reason they win. like in Buffalo or anywhere else in the NFL with a good quarterback. They win. If a quarterback doesn't play well, like, guess what? This year, Mahomes gets that. He didn't play great this year, but they win. Why? Because of him. They win because of Mahomes. Mahomes did not have one of his better years, but they win because of him. In Philly, they don't win because of Hurts. These people are stupid. No, you know what the frustrating thing is? You can't admit it. This is the greatest conversation I've ever had with people exposing themselves for other narratives on why you support that guy as your quarterback and not expect greatness. Don't you expect greatness from your quarterback position if you're paying him the most? Or is this free pass city? So here, get this. Jalen Hurts can play bad as long as he wins in your eyes. Is that right? Is that what you're saying? Jalen Hurts can play bad as long as they win. You're okay with it. Nicholas, yes. Come on. Is that okay? Hurts can play average to poor as long as they win. Lewis, yes. Papada, yes. Tony, yes. Hurts can play like shit as long as they win. Look at this. Wish you gave McNabb this same latitude. So a quarterback, because he wins, is entitled to play like shit, and you're okay with it. Wow. I just learned something about Eagle fans. You're okay with poor performances as long as they win. And he put together about 15 of them this year. Hey, I missed that one, Xander, from Tony. Anyone saying yes is a total dipshit. I missed that one from Tony. That's super chat. We're drinking good rum, Sills. B+ for Jalen, baby. So he thinks Jalen had a B+ game, and he's okay with him playing like shit. Or no, according to him, he didn't play like shit. He played great. Not happy with Hurts, but the Eagles can win next week. Yeah, they can. I've been telling you, John, you got a good team. John, you have a really good football team. You have a great team. Your quarterback's just not great. He hasn't been great in 2 years. Here's a good one. Sills, then you tell us what you want to see from Hurts. I want to see him lead and be the reason that they win ball games. And I don't care what the Sioux stats are. I want him to be the reason they win the Super Bowl. He has had no impact this year on that offensive huddle. The passing game has been atrocious all year. The Steeler game didn't fix it, folks. This just in. Some of you thought, and we're getting all hyped up after the Steeler game, that was going to click and flip the switch. As told by Sills, that's not the case. Oh, but now it's rust. Coordinator. What other bullshit excuse? Here, game balls. As expected. Man. God, I would love to say one thing. Ugh. Below average, but no turnovers at least, Nick. Right? 3 for 11 or 2 for 11 on third down. You get 4 turnovers. You don't turn the ball over. Kept Green Bay in it. You win. You're right. Hurts don't have to play well. He just doesn't. That's how good that offense is, and that's how good that team is now. Okay? How is Hurts below average? Look at this guy. How is Hurts below average? If you don't see it, there's really nothing I can point out. That's an asinine question, because if you don't see it, I'm not really sure how to convince you. Use your eyeball test. He's not patient in the pocket. One time he was. The one to Dotson. The rest of it, sprints out. Can barely throw and run. And his pocket presence is terrible. He got sacked again a couple times in there, I think. I mean, how many excuses? Once again, when you say that, you know who wins when he doesn't play well? Like I said, it's Patrick Mahomes or Allen. They're the reason those teams win. Jalen's not the reason. There was not one redeeming quality of a starting quarterback yesterday by that dude. So why has Hurts regressed, and why has the organization allowed it? They have eyes, I hope. I'll answer that in a minute here. Why? I'll tell you in a minute. How long do you expect the defense to hold that Lord's grace? That is exceptional. Guys, all supers go to the top, and I'll answer them all. Please hit the like button. Why does the organization allow it? It's easy to control. Howie has more control over the roster offensively. You can't put the power in one guy's hand like you have in Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati. Quarterback has too much power. They roll the way those quarterbacks roll. How many times did Nick today or after the game blow Howie Roseman? Well, I'll talk about his post-game comments, but it's easy to control. Quarterback's a non-factor. Quarterback's a company guy. Best quarterback in the division is my guy, Jaden. No question. There is no question. How about this if you even want to go here? The most talented quarterback in the NFC East is in Washington, D.C. That's his 3 games this year with Hurts throwing for 120 yards, and they win easily. Jaden has to do everything. Correct. They win because of him. Seals, Jalen's play may be horrific, but what irks me is how scared he looks. Guy looks afraid once the ball is snapped. I can't have a scary quarterback. No, sir. It's not scared. It's confused. It's confused. Yeah. It's confused. I mean, yeah, I forgot. He's concussed or something. Concussed, rust. Sure. Hit the like button. Please. Give me a total on the likes, too. Angelo Cataldi will be with us at the bottom of the hour. I told you there's no excuses. You have a really good football team. I am going to consistently say this 1,000 times today. You have one of the 4 teams that can win the Super Bowl as long as your quarterback stays out of the way. If he stays out of the way, you can win it. Hey, I wrote it down here. What was the other question here? Why haven't they done anything about it? There was another question too that was asked, and I'll answer it too. All supers go to the top, like Brian here. Thank you. Here are my game balls. Number 10, Cooper DeJean continues to impress. Number 9, Q. Even had a few bad plays in there. Still rallied back and played tough. Okay? Number 8, slays in and out of the lineup. Continues to make good plays. Number 7, before he got injured, Kobe Dean. Dean has proven he can play. Now, it'll be if he can stay healthy. Number 6, Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert made big plays in that game. And boy, does he have a nose for the end zone when healthy. Number 5, Devontae Smith. Pro's pro. Continues to play well. Number 4, Reed Blankenship. Said the safeties had to play well. He did. And he was really a good player. Game ball number 3, Zach Bond. Man, you could make the argument. The MVP comes down between Saquon Barkley and Zach Bond. Barkley's more important because he moves the sticks in the offense and covers the inefficiencies of the quarterback. But Zach has had a special season. He really has. It's just a magical season that he's had. Number 2, Nolan Smith. Continuing to get better and better and better and better. And in my opinion, okay, of all the players out there for the Eagles, he was probably, he's the one that stood out in a crowd. And number 1, Barkley. You are not winning games unless that dude is in your huddle. You don't have anyone else in that huddle that can dictate and move the chains like Barkley can. I have been completely surprised and wrong about the impact of Saquon Barkley. I mean, just a special season from him. Cooper at 10, Mitchell 9, Slay 8, Dean 7, Goddard 6, Devontae 5, my game balls. Reed Blankenship 4, Zach Bond 3, Nolan Smith 2, and Saquon Barkley 1. Again, fantastic. The defense has been exceptional. Here. The offensive line has been exceptional. The defense has been overachieving beyond anything I could have thought. Vic Fangio called such a great football game yesterday. Okay? And you should be proud of Nolan. Nolan has absolutely turned the corner. Okay? He has. And you have a good team. I'm not sure why you're upset here, some of you. I have said it, and I've been counting. 32 times that you have a really good team and a chance to win a Super Bowl. Why are you upset? 32 times I said you could win the Super Bowl. Why are you upset? What am I saying that's upsetting you? What's upsetting you? What's upsetting you? The truth? Is the truth upsetting you? Oh. I've told you this numerous times. People would rather be lied to than spoken the truth to. You know why? Because you want to feel good about yourselves and feel good about something that you were. There's too much hoping. Hoping is not a strategy. Seals, you think Jay Daniels' year is better than Hurts in 2022? I don't. Daniels is still too early to know what he's doing and what he's going to be. He's about to lose his OC, maybe, probably to Chicago. I give Hurts a D+ grade for the game. 41-33. Outside of Terry McLaurin, what has Jaden Daniels won 13 ball games with? Just curious what you think he's won 13 ball games with in that huddle. The Redskins' offensive line, in my opinion, is probably a 5 out of 10. Outside of Terry McLaurin, there's no one else. Tight end's decent. Actually, what do you think he has in that huddle? Austin Eckler absolutely is a really good football player. Austin Eckler is a really good football player. He is. He is a really good football player. I'll give you Eckler. Absolutely. Eckler's a good player. Zach Ertz made some plays. I think he's on the back nine now. We all agree with that. Okay? 2 solid backs. Does anybody in here actually think Jaden Daniels has the number 1 offensive line, the best duo wide receivers in the NFL, and one of the top 5 tight ends? Does anybody think that in here, that Daniels is working with that? If you are, you're lying again with yourselves. You're lying to make your guy look better. Folks, I have said this numerous times to you. What in the world are you crying about when somebody points out the truth to you? Why are you upset? This is exactly the commentary coming out of that game. You out-physicaled Green Bay. You beat them up. Your defense was exceptional. You made plays in special teams. You ran the ball exceptionally well. Your quarterback was average to below average. That's how good your roster is. You're one of the 4 teams. Why do I consistently have to blow you to make you feel better about yourselves? Because your quarterback sucks. Why? Is there some other thing you want? I know what you want. He's still talking. See you in an hour. Hey, look at Philly D. See Philly D? You know what they're talking about in Baltimore? The great play of Lamar Jackson. You know what they're talking about in Buffalo? The great play of Josh Allen. You know what they're talking about in D.C.? the great play of Jaden Daniels. He'll come back in an hour, and we'll still be doing it. You know why? Because he's the focal point. Unless you want to talk about War and Peace in a book review here, we can do that too. We can do the book review too if you want. Let's congratulate Hurts for his first wild card win. Hurts, why? He didn't do anything in the game to deserve it. I'll congratulate Bond, Barkley. That's a great one. I like that topic. He'd be the last guy that started that I would reward a pat on the back for. Let's take a listen to Nick's post-game comments. Let's see what he thought. Okay? And see what he thought. Hey, by the way, one more time. I'm not going to debate the ones that are in here saying he played great. It's not worth my time or my energy. Because that would be about debating M. Reyes on Jalen playing great yesterday would be about 5 minutes of my life I would want to get back, or with Sue or any of these other people that would say such a thing. I got more important things to do than debate something like that. I'm not debating it. I'm just moving on from it. Okay? I'm not. That would be 5 minutes of my life. I would pray to get back. Here's Nick yesterday and some of the comments that he made. The protection was great all night long. The protection was great. Quarterback failed. Oren Burks did set the tone. He was exceptional in that game. When he got into the starting lineup, it got a little wobbly. It did. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. 4 turnovers. The defense created 2, you got to say. Hurts is average to below average. Why the F are these homers standing up for him? Average. Defense, A+. O-line, A+. Running game, A+. A+ take. A+ take. Imagine Sills doing all 22 review on Hurts. Laugh my ass off. That's a great idea, actually, is to play the 22. And then we could sit here and break it down with you. And you could see for yourselves with the video. I'm not sure that's legal. But if I broke the video down with you and you watch game tape on him, you would start laughing. Tune on a game tape with him. You're going to laugh. It's comical. It's comical. I mean, it's comical. I watched the 22 this morning. Every guy was covered. Pre-snap cover. Why is that? They know all you need to do is hold for 3 seconds. Hurts will take off running. That's the game plan Brian Flores is going to implement if it's Minnesota that beats the Rams tonight. I can promise you that. And they got better players on defense than what Green Bay does. Would we be clear favorites to win the Super Bowl if Hurts was playing B+ ball? You're a favorite to win the Super Bowl with him playing C football. If he was playing B football, no one would be near you. No one would be near you. Isn't, Maybe that's my problem. You're so close to having nobody in your league. It's mind-numbing. Do you know how close you are to nobody competing with you? A quarterback away. You're a quarterback away from having nobody compete with you. You paid the wrong guy. Sully goes, it's coaching. No, it's not. Kellen Moore has to win games the best he sees fit. And how he sees it, don't put the ball in the hands of the quarterback. That's why he's winning. Kellen Moore's winning ball games. He ain't worried about Jalen Hurts looking good. This is about him looking and them winning. Right now, Kellen Moore does not have Jalen Hurts' best interest. Or he does. He has the entire unit's best interest. That's how he's calling a game. Don't you get it? He doesn't give a shit if Jalen Hurts looks good. He cares that that team and that offensive unit wins and wins ball games. That's why you can watch a drop back quarterback with Tanner McKee with nobodies spread the ball around. That's what he wants. Jalen Hurts gets implemented back in there. They're going to cookie cut it. And they're going to go about their business. Okay? Kellen Moore's responsibility is not to make Jalen Hurts look good. His responsibility as coordinator is to win. Oh, I see. You blame him for Hurts not looking well, but you don't give him the kudos for calling a game that wins a ball game. You contradict yourselves. All they do is win. Kellen gets that too, doesn't he? Doesn't he get that too? Or no? So Kellen, it's the fault that Kellen has made Jalen look bad. And they have not enhanced the passing game. And Jalen wins. And that's all he is a winner. Well, so is Kellen Moore. All he is a winner. Right? No one believes except the Jalen A's. A few dorks with peanut for a brain. We are not a Super Bowl contending team because of the quarterback. QB is not him. Xander, I missed the Super if we can get to that because I'd like to make sure we hit that Super before Angelo Cataldi comes on. Angelo's going to be on at the bottom of the hour. Gary Cobb will be with us at 4:30. And we will have Xander probably at the 5 o'clock hour, top of the 5 o'clock hour. First time playing, us teams are worried what we'll do with our weapons till they realize Hurts isn't good enough, so they play two eye safety. That's right, Abe. That's exactly right. That's exactly correct. I'll take half the running abilities, a decent read progressions, accurate throws for my quarterback. Slammer, if you're okay with a guy not having to be a good QB, a decent QB, then you got your guy. Jalen needs to at least be Trent Dilfer. He is. Make a couple plays in the passing game and sit back and don't turn the ball over. Feed the ball to Jamal Lewis and let the defense eat. That's pretty much the Baltimore remedy with Dilfer. That's what they did to win that Super Bowl. Couple plays in the passing game, nothing crazy. Don't turn it over. Feed Jamal Lewis. Defense wins games. That's how they won it. Brian Billick won a Super Bowl and next year moved on from Dilfer because he wasn't good enough. Hey, by the way, what's wrong with that? Nothing. Why are you paying your guy $50 million then? There's not a chance in hell that guy is worth that money. Well, he wins. Not because of you. Hey, it's a good take. Sills, don't forget, Jalen submitted to this style of offense. That's a better take than you know, Samuel. Because I will relent to that, and I'll bend to that. Here's why. I've heard Troy Aikman say numerous times he'd like to have aired it out a lot more when he was in Dallas, but Dallas had a formula for winning. They had an exceptional running back, a great O-line. They played tough defense, and he had to play within very tight guardrails with North Turner to win Super Bowls. There is something there to that. You're not wrong, Samuel. It's kind of the 90s Dallas Cowboy mentality. Don't do anything great or exceptional. Hit Irvin on third downs, and then feed Emmitt Smith. You're kind of right there. All the remaining DCs take one look at Hurts and they see him as food. Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, they're going to eat. Scrumptious, Brian, is that it? Hey, again, you have a really good football team and you have a very mediocre quarterback. Hit the like button. By the way, don't anyone use that line ever again that says, well, he's a winner. Okay? He makes that line look like shit. It's some disloyalty fans in this chat. Look at this. Okay, look. Okay? You're all siding with the man who disses your quarterback every day when your quarterback's, get this, quarterback's record is 51-22 in 4 years. He's making it seem, folks, that they win because of him. That's a complete lie. He had nothing to do with that game yesterday. They won because of great defense, and they won because they were efficient when it came to not turning the ball over, and they ran the ball. Jalen Hurts, he wants to give Jalen Hurts all he does is win. So he gets Anthony entitles him to play like shit. Hurts can play like shit and win, but that's cool with Anthony. He's good with that. Hurts can play like shit, and Anthony's good with it as long as he wins. Okay. Okay, Anthony. Okay. And you're right. Here's the beautiful thing. Anthony's moving on to the second round. I'm really not going to debate how good he thinks Hurts is. I don't. And he's getting worse. Okay? You want to see performances? Here are my top 10 performances yesterday before we get Angelo on. Joe Mixon, Texans, 25 carries, 106 and a TD. Barkley, number 8, 25 carries, 119 yards. When is winning not the main objective? I know. Absolutely. Number one most important thing. Congratulations, you have a great team. It ain't him, but congratulations. Nobody said you don't have a great team here. I've said it now. I've been counting 51 times that you have a good team. But I refuse to give him the credit for it. Number 6, I got James Cook versus Denver. 23 carries, 120 TD. By the way, Terry McLaurin, 10 was 7 catches, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Nico Collins is 9, 7 catches, 122, and 1. Number 5, Jaden Daniels, 24, 35, 2 TDs, 268 yards passing, 13 carries for 36 yards. Tremendous performance by him. CJ Stroud, 22 of 33, 282, a touchdown and a pick. Number 4. Number 3, Lamar Jackson versus the Steelers. 16 of 21, 175, 2 TDs, no picks, 15 carries, 81 yards. for over 260 yards in total offense. Number 2, Derrick Henry, 26 carries, 186, 2 TDs. Guy's a force. And number 1, Josh Allen, 272, 2 touchdowns, 8 carries, 46 yards, 320 some odd yards in total offense with nobody in his huddle. With nobody in his huddle. I'm going to make this comment to you here, and I'm going to say it again about yesterday's game. The defense has played exceptional. And the O-line has been exceptional. But I am going to say this one more time here, man. I'm going to say this. The quarterback is going to be an issue. As you move into the divisional round, the conference championship, and potentially the Super Bowl. You can't perform like that. You know, if you watch the All-22, you see it's predictable now. Some are going to go, it's Kellen Moore. Okay? Well, Kellen Moore has done the right thing. He's won 15 ball games. I'm going to say it one more time before we get Angelo Cataldi on here. You have one of the top 4 teams that can win the Super Bowl. Make no case about. They played exceptional. I don't know about you, but I came away from that game doing this. Jalen gets this benefit. Man, he wins. Well, he wins. That's a commentary for people who carry your football team to wins. Like Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes didn't play well this year. They win because of Mahomes. Josh Allen, they win because of those guys. Lamar, they're not winning right now because of Jalen Hurts. Okay? They're just not. I've said it 52 times, you have a good team. So I could not wait. And by the way, you beat that Packer team up. Why did that game feel like it was 75-0 and it was a 6-point difference? I can't wait to hear Angelo's take. Because by the way, folks, he may be completely different than how I saw that game, and that's why I love him. All that being said, our dear friend Angelo Cataldi, the Eagles move on now to the divisional round. He joins us now here on the National Football Show here. And I don't know, Angelo.
No, I'm sorry, Dan. I was much like AJ Brown. I was reading. I found out today. AJ Brown, the book he was reading, is #1 on Amazon. So I'm using the same thing. Buy my book.
Hey, I thought he was reading War and Peace on the sideline. I said that yesterday. I didn't know he was such a scholar and so not engaged in the game with that yesterday. What an absolute disrespectful look that thing was. I mean, I don't know. Angelo, give me your takeaway. I mean, you know what? I think I have caught your disease. No. You know what that is? I'm never happy. I don't know what it is. I'm never happy. Help me out on this. Please, Dr. Angelo. Please, Dr. Cataldi, tell me how I can get over this.
Well, all right. Let me just say that I don't agree with you on Hurts. I really don't. And here's why. All right. I watch these games and it's like I'm fully immersed. There's nothing that happens in my life that takes more of my concentration than watching a game. And there were 2 moments in the game yesterday that to me said, Hurts is fine, relax, it'll be okay. The 2 times that they got with the Packers by the way, the Packers played a horrible football game. They were just abysmal, all right? But there were 2 times in the second half where they got within a 1-score game, a 7-point difference and a 6-point difference. And I went, all right, this is where you'll see if your quarterback is handling the situation right. Both times, sustained drives, leading to points that made it a two-possession game. When they needed him to perform, when they needed the key third down throw, when they needed him to run for a first down, in big moments, he was still there. Is he rusty? Yeah. He didn't play for almost a month. I'm telling you, Dan, when they need that young man to perform, he will perform. I learned this by watching McNabb, because McNabb was the opposite.
Yeah.
When a disaster was happening, it would cave in. This guy is composed. He's calm. He's fine. To me, I'm not that worried. There was other things that happened that game that made me nervous. The fact that our offensive coordinator in a big game got one ball to A.J. Brown, one ball, 3 targets in the whole game. Now that you want to question, so you question that. But to me, when I needed the quarterback to come up big, the quarterback still came up big. And yeah, 131 passing yards. I know all the things that were, little alarms going off to people. He never worries me. That kid, I just feel that in big moments, his composure will take over. And that's what I thought happened yesterday.
The AJ Brown stuff. How did you take that? I mean, honestly, can I tell you what I first thought it was? Yeah. I thought it was like a playbook or something that they were drawing up like play designs. I'm like, what's he reading? And then when I heard it was some book of inspiration, like this guy's reading the book of Moses or something, I'm like, what's he doing there? So he's so not engaged because he only got one catch. Tell me how you took that whole scene.
That is it. No, that was a signal. A.J. Brown doesn't do stuff like A.J. Brown knows when the camera's on.
I thought that was a metaphor too for how he felt.
And he was saying, they don't want to use me. Fine, I'll read. Oh, I'm serious, Dan. I really believe he was sending a message in his own. I loved it. This guy, for talk show hosts, even retired ones, there's no one like this guy. Well, then I guess they don't need me today. I'll read some inspirational passages for when they do.
Do you think he does it just he's like AJ? I used to call him AJ Owens.
Yeah.
So
he is like him.
He just does things differently and not adversarially, and he's more of a metaphor guy, which makes him actually a little smarter than what T.O. was.
He is smart. First of all, when he does this stuff, and that was a whole different approach. That was passive-aggressive compared to throwing a tantrum on the sideline, which he's done. He's saying to you, why aren't you using me? And he's right. Again, yesterday, he's right. When you throw him the ball, he makes stuff happen. You don't want to throw him the ball? He'll read. He'll make a book no one's heard of, the #1 bestseller today on Amazon. That's what he did. That's how big the NFL is there, that he could turn that into a best-selling book. And he had passages out highlighted like he was having a test. The guy is awesome. I love the guy. He's my favorite Eagle. He is my favorite Eagle because he never stops creating stuff.
Oh my God. I agree. And you know what? There's 2 things he does that you and me love. This guy's a content machine and he produces. Yes. You can't get anybody better than that.
No. And the fact that there are games that they basically give him off is ridiculous to me because he makes plays. Get him the ball.
Oh, yes.
What is in your game plan that is better than throwing the ball to one of the best receivers the Eagles have ever had? What's better? What do you got? You got 5 more runs into the line? Yeah, that works. But I wouldn't leave that guy out of any game plan I had. I love the way he plays. And Devontae, too. They got – even this kid Dotson now is starting to show a little bit. He made a nice play and a touchdown. Dan, here's my take for the game. I watched every minute of every game this weekend, and I will again tonight. The Eagles have the best roster in the NFL.
Yes.
I really believe it in terms of both sides of the ball, and big time talent, and even losing Dean, they still got a lot there. They got to do it. This is absolutely. I did a podcast last week with Irving Fryer, who I worked with like 30 years ago, and we both said the same thing. This is the year. You may never get back to this point, this healthy, with this much talent, and in an NFL this year with no team like way above the others. This is it, Dan. This is it. They got to win 3 more games this year. And if they do, my prediction of 5 wins in the year will be one of the worst in the history of podcasts or broadcast. It will be one of the worst. I will fall on that sword and go, well, there's never been a worse prediction than that. The year they won the Super Bowl, I had them 5-12.
Well, Angelo, I would say this. It might be the worst prediction since 1912 when they said the Titanic wasn't sinkable. So, I mean.
You're right. That's a perfect one. That'll never go down.
2 hours it went down, it was over. I mean, so you do. Is it too soon? Sorry if it's too soon. Hey, listen, I mean, so you think this football team has the best opportunity of any team that's in the playoffs left, both AFC and NFC, to win this whole thing?
They have the most talent. And their coordinators, even though Kellen Moore had a bad game yesterday, Fangio had a great game yesterday.
Great game.
And I got the other, the Eagles, you saw how much a team is lacking in the Packers. The Packers, what was their game plan? What part? They're down 9 with 5 minutes to go, and they're running the ball with their backup running back into the line, chewing up clock, down 2 scores. Weren't you watching that and going, is Andy Reid managing the clock back at 2005 again?
I think I think Matt LaFleur sometimes, Angelo, every time he gets in the playoffs, like he did a couple of years ago when they, instead of going for it on 4th down, they punted.
Right.
I think he gets a little bit too conservative with how he manages those really tight games. I think that's still a flaw in his coaching approach.
Without a doubt. Now, there's a couple other things, though, that haven't been said that need to be said. And I wrote this on my blog today at angelocatali.com. Very first play of the game. Am I hallucinating, or were there 2 mistakes by the officials?
Yes.
Number one, there was the guy that fumbled the ball. Nixon, he recovered the ball. He was down. The play was dead.
The overhead showed you he recovered it.
And here's one that the broadcast ignored. If that isn't helmet to helmet, what's helmet to helmet?
Yeah.
A guy hit him right in the crown of his head against his face mask. Is that helmet to helmet?
Yes, it was.
No, and that Tom Brady, please leave. Tom Brady is awful. It's so bad. You're going, the guy's the greatest player to ever play. He's a brilliant quarterback. He doesn't notice helmet to helmet. Nobody in the truck is saying to him, hey, bring up helmet to helmet. Sterator's in the corner. He's in the corner of the car. He's on a computer. The guy's there for that freaking play. Nothing. They don't even go to him. Nothing happens. I'm going, well, look, thank you. I'm rooting for the Eagles. How did you miss that?
Yeah.
How did you miss it?
Absolutely. I thought the officiating was terrible. Absolutely.
It was so bad. It was, but the Packers, they're throwing 4th down balls. The guy's out of bounds. They got a guy hitting a Saquon after the way out of bounds.
Yeah.
1st down, clinches the game. They just played a horrible football game. I don't even know how much you can gauge the Eagles based on playing that team yesterday. They were not ready to play, and they had an awful game plan, which they executed dreadfully. It was awful.
Have you seen anybody in a storyline like Zach Bond before, where you've seen a guy? I mean, Angelo, this guy was a special teams guy in New Orleans, and You know, one of my favorite things is watching the little guy on the sidelines there and getting Howie there, man. He's got to get his FaceTime. He's got to make sure he gets his FaceTime. I tell you what, I love the FaceTime. I'm going to give him credit though, Angelo.
Yeah,
he's built a hell of a roster here.
He did.
He does like the media, and he does like to be in front of all that. Maybe rightfully so in what he's done. But what do you think is a bigger sign, the Barkley sign or finding this guy Bond?
That one, no one saw that. No one saw that.
No one.
I've always believed in every sport, Dan, there are certain guys that would have been great, but never really got the shot. This is an example of. They never noticed that he was good before he got to the Eagles, and the Eagles said, here, save our linebacker core. That guy is always near the ball. He's sticking people. You look at the Eagles haven't had a linebacker that good. How many years? A decade, 2 decades? Jeremiah Trotter, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, it's that far. I mean, the original Jeremiah, not his son. The original.
Senior.
They don't. That guy, look, they Love threw him the ball. I mean, Love threw the ball right to Bond. But I've seen a lot of players drop it. He in the moment, that guy is where the ball is, and he's making the plays. And I love watching him because the Eagles they've never prioritized that position. And he's showing you how a great linebacker can impact the game. And he's incredible. The whole defense, my God, the 2 guys in the middle, Jacobs couldn't do anything except for one play the whole game. They mauled him. He didn't go anywhere. Nolan Smith, wow, second year. Where'd that come from? We thought he was a bust.
I did.
He played great. No, Vic Fangio, what he has done this year is one of the best coordinating coaches jobs I've ever seen. He took that defense.
31st.
How bad it was the end of last year.
31st.
31st in the league. And they're first 1 year with a couple of additions. Not that much different than what they had before. And now they're fantastic. And that's why they got to win it. If they don't win it, we should all start. Your negativity should go to max 10 position, because that's got to be a coaching mistake, because this team should win the Super Bowl. This team has a better shot than 2 years ago.
Wow.
No doubt.
So it's Super Bowl or bust for you,
yes,
Angelo.
Without a doubt. This year, they have more talent than the team that was 2 years ago, and more talent than the team that won it in 2017. This is the most talented Eagles team I can ever remember. They should win it.
So the 04 team, the 17 team, the 22 team, and now this. You think this is the best roster of players?
Yes, I'm positive.
Of what you've seen.
Those teams in the early aughts, those teams there that were going to the championship game every year, they didn't have these kind of receivers. They didn't have this many weapons. When did they ever have a Saquon Barkley?
No, Freddie Mitchell, right? And those dudes, those guys, Macklin and them guys, they were good, but they weren't like these guys.
The reason and the line, my God, they lost Jason Kelce, and they're better this year. They're better without Kelce. Who would have predicted that?
No way.
I mean, that line is phenomenal. And they just, you know what they did yesterday? They just took the Packers and beat the crap out of them. It got to the point in the fourth quarter where the Packers, there was a Packer hurt on every play for like 2 series. They have to keep stopping and coming out and getting the carts out and hauling them off the field. It was like the body bag game in 1990. The famous game, the most popular favorite game Philadelphia ever saw, is when the Eagles on a Monday Night Football beat the hell out of the Redskins, and they were hauling them out in body bags. It was like that yesterday in the fourth quarter. The Packers, my God, they shouldn't have even made the flight to Philly. They were awful.
Jerome told me about that body bag game. He called me up. He goes, "You watch this thing?" I was in the league at the time, and I go, "Yeah, no." I saw that thing, man. That thing was a mess. They were hitting people out of the back of the end zone over at the vet. I mean, they were looking to hurt everybody in that
They
ball.
were.
Right?
They
That
were.
was
It
a
was great.
nightmare.
It was so good.
Hey, Angelo, who are you more concerned about? Them closing this thing, Kellen Moore or Nick?
Well, I'm always concerned about Nick, but more now than ever, I'm convinced that he's doing next to nothing. I'm positive. See, as long as there aren't tough strategic decisions to make, and he just stays on the sideline and acts like a clown, which he still does all the time. Watching him, I mean, my God, you just get. But those other guys are in charge. And that's why I think they're a lot better off they were 2 years ago. Because 2 years ago, Sirianni was involved with the planning of the offense and even some of the defense. Gannon and Steichen and those guys. He's not, I don't see him. So Moore had a bad game. Kellen Moore had a game plan that did not exploit all of the weapons that the Eagles have. And everybody today is talking about Hurts, but give him a better game plan, and I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think Hurts is fine. Watch him in key moments. That's how you can gauge whether the player who's running your offense is a winner. And he's a winner. He knows how to win the game. Those long drives at the end of close games, he doesn't turn the ball over when it could be fatal. He's smart, and he'll be fine.
Who would you rather see from tonight's ball game? Would you rather play against Minnesota, or would you rather go against Stafford and the Rams?
I want the best. I want to beat the Vikings. I think. I also love Minnesota, their fan base. 500 of them or so will brave it to come to the link, and will regret it. All right, this has happened before. All right,
Wait a minute, Skull doesn't like to show up in Philly.
They honestly, Dan, they come here with their hopes so high, like they were in 17. That was one, and then they just get crushed. And I don't believe Sam Darnold is that good all of a sudden. I just think he hasn't met a team that's going to test him. The Eagles should really have. Look, they could beat either team. There's no doubt in my mind they could beat either team. Let's do the Vikings, and then do the Lions, and then do the Chiefs, and then hold a parade, because that would be the ultimate. And it's got to be the stinking Chiefs. I know I'm way ahead, but it's got to be the Chiefs. I got to see Andy Reid on the sideline with the stupid mustache, with a look on his face like, Mahomes is not saving my ass this year, is he? I got to see him lose a Super Bowl.
So you want to play a 15-win Viking team next week?
Yes,
at home
I do.
Then you want in the NFC title game, the team that won home field. Then you want a team that's going for 3 straight Super Bowls.
Yes.
Will that make this Eagle team the greatest team if they go on that epic run?
You know what? Probably.
Better than the 60 team, better than the 17 team.
See, I didn't see the 60 team, but it's a different world now. It's tougher.
Yes.
You got to get through more hurdles to win championships now. I would say this would be the greatest Eagles team of all time, despite their idiot head coach. Because even if they win it all, Dan, I'll let you know right now, I will still dislike intensely Nick Sirianni. I want you to know that. No matter what happens from here, I will still despise the guy.
Okay, I have to ask you these off-football questions.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that you're getting ready to buy your season tickets now to the Flyers and Sixers with their giant corroboration now of putting this arena together here. Just your impact and what you think that whole corroboration is going to be now that these guys are going to collaborate to get together now to make that arena and what it means to the Philly sports fans.
That damn Joshua Harris, ironically, the owner of the Commanders,
who's moving on, by the way, will play Detroit this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Although I guarantee you he had nothing to do with the success of the team. I've seen his work, all right? But they played the city. They played Camden. They played everybody for what they ended up with yesterday. The whole thing was getting Comcast to foot a major part of the bill to build the arena they want. That's what this was. This was like everything else Harris has done his whole life. It's about making money. He can get a better deal in the sports complex. He can spend less money. He'll fleece, believe me, all of our cable bills are about to go up because he's going to get it out of Comcast. He is a brilliant businessman, but he made a lot of people look stupid. And he put that neighborhoods around Chinatown through the ringer for years to get his way. And then, Dan, even the way they did it, they try to sneak the announcement out the day of an Eagles playoff game, a Sunday morning news dump. I mean, they have no shame whatsoever. But now I look at it and go, he never was going to do that arena in Chinatown. He knew the traffic issues. He knew what he was going to be doing to that community. He just used them to get a better deal at the original spot. And that's what happened.
It's like trying to push a budget for the government on a Friday night when everyone's at a holiday and everyone's got a Monday holiday and you're trying to get it pushed through.
Angelo, they just have no shame.
No, I see this now.
No shame.
What happened? Angelo, I grew up with the Flyers being exceptional. Okay. Bernie Perron, all these guys playing against the Islanders when I was younger. And every time when I was working down in Tampa and they would play the Flyers, it was absolutely Philadelphia sports fans everywhere for that team. I used to get Ed Snyder on my program. I loved the guy. Bobby Clark, I don't know whatever you think of him. I mean, he would come on the show, but I never really thought he was the greatest executive, but I loved him as a player. Okay. Yes. I thought he host jobbed Lindros a little bit and how that whole thing was handled. But what's happened to the Flyers, man? How come and why are they in the shape that they're in? I know that one of your guys and one of my friends now is the president of operations there now. Yes. But gee, what happened to that franchise?
All right. They what happened was for many, many years, Ed Snyder's loyalty to his players caused them to fail repeatedly because he kept putting players in charge of the organization. Clark, Paul Holmgren, Ron Hextall, none of them knew how to do that job well. All right. Keith Jones is there now. I work with him for 20 years. I communicate with him regularly. He has assured me, and he is the president of the team, that next year, keep your eyes out. You're going to see a different hockey club. And I believe him. He said, we need the rest of this year. We got to work out the other things we got. And then you put the pressure on us because then we're ready to win. And I believe him. I believe him because I know he is a unique entity in sports organizations. He is somebody who is not necessarily the smartest guy about players or any of that stuff. He knows people, and he'll put the right people in spot. So I'm giving him another. Now, a year from now, if they stink, I will be torturing him with text messages, telling him, Jonesy, you should have never left broadcasting. You suck as a president. But I'm not there yet because I have a lot of faith in him, and I need to see it in the next year. You're right, though. They've asked these fans to wait a long time. Man. There was a time when they sold out every seat to every game just out of loyalty. No more now. It's time to start winning. They got to do it.
Do you think the Sixers are in that position right now, too, that they've worn out the 76ers and the Philly faithful now, where they're going to be rolling down that same road right now pretty soon, too? Because I can't think you're sitting there waiting for the process.
The Sixers are a lost cause. They're not going anywhere, and they're not doing anything. And I'm telling you right now, I'm watching to see if they can even turn it around enough this season to make it into the playoffs. But when you're paying a guy $50 million a year and you don't know from day to day whether he's going to be able to play for you, what are your chances?
Yeah.
Well, you think you're going to just turn it on the last 30 games, win 25, get into the playoffs, and then blow people out? No. They built the foundation on the creaky legs and weird personality of Joel Embiid, and it's going to cost them. They're going, and within the next couple of years, Dan, you know what we're going to hear? We need to start a new process. Trust the process. Here we go again. Here we are down at the bottom of the league.
Remember, Angelo, the line used to be, hey, if we build it, you will come. Now it's like, you build it.
Yeah.
Now I want you to come. No, man, you got to build a team for me to give you my tax money. I've never seen a fan base loyalty to teams and the civic pride that Philadelphia has that will just bend over for whatever they want and these owners. And by the way, Angelo, the media people in your town today have really, no disrespect, because I know many of these folks are your friends, but I think some of them, I think they sip on Similac. I think they have breast milk in some of their cups now, because these guys are so soft, and they at the ninny of these organizations now, that whatever they do, it's so sad now. I mean, this story here with Howard Eskin, and by the way, I'm trying to get Howard on. He said that he's going to try to come on this week, and he wants to clear the air on some of the things that were said from you. And he said this. And by the way, Marcus Hayes contacted me. Funny, Angelo, 4:30 in the morning, he contacted me on some of the stuff that you said. And they said that as you were talking, they had a story in the hopper. They put it out at 4:05, as you were saying. Marcus Hayes, I happen to believe and I happen to love. He's one of the last true guys in your market that I believe comes from the heart and comes from nobody telling him. But boy, I got to tell you, I just don't know what to make of this Eskin story. You know, he's trying to do whatever he can to stay relevant and wants to be hired. Just give me your take on what you've seen over this last week with that story.
Look, the guy's a pioneer in the field that I went in. He charted the way for me and many others. I have a debt to him. At the same time, what I said on your show the last time, there were over 24 eyewitnesses to the incident at Chickies and Pete's. There is a videotape of what happened. So if he wants to change the narrative to where he never really had contact with the women he got into dispute with, it's not true. I don't know how many witnesses you need to tell you exactly what happened before you know what happened. And the woman did not file a complaint against Howard based on nothing. And they did not decide to ask Howard to leave WIP for good based on nothing. They had the story. It took them almost 2 weeks to get all the details. It was not hard to get the truth of the story because so many people saw it. Look, he wants to keep working. I hope somebody hires him. I hope he gets that opportunity. I don't think either of the incidents that he did were so heinous that they should end his career. From what I understand, and this is what I've learned by witnessing what happened with him a year and a half after I retired. Howard and I are the same age, right? And what I sensed, and I don't think he did, was that things you could do 10 years ago, definitely 20 years ago, 30 years ago, simply can't happen now. And he's a victim of that he came up through these ranks when there is stuff I said, Dan, 10 years ago that would have gotten me fired the last year I was there. No question about it.
Yes, sir.
2 incidents that ended Howard's tenure at WIP were both incidents that would have been nothing 20 years ago. Something 10 years ago, but probably not something that would force you to have to resign. he just didn't adjust to the time. One of the reasons I left was I didn't trust myself anymore.
Huh.
I knew the lines were moving all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Can I make that comment? Is that gonna get an FCC complaint, and then they're gonna call me in? And
Yep.
I was constantly worried about that because I grew up at a time when the rules were a lot different than they are now. So look, I know he's trying to save whatever's left of a career that has gone on for half a century, and I hope he succeeds at it. But if he's telling you that the accounts that came out about what happened are not accurate, he's ignoring the fact that there were tons of eyewitnesses and there is a tape.
Angelo, I would make this point to what you said. I think for guys like you and me who came up in that era, I came up in the Randy Michaels era. That's the guy who found me in radio. And Randy Michaels was the guy that schooled me. I mean, Angelo, I'll say something. I mean, and he used to show up down with JAKIB Radio. He would have a dildo around his neck and walk around the offices with it and thought it was funny. Well, you can't do that shit anymore today with the way people are. You just can't act like that. And he was so over the top in some of the things that he did at JAKIB, and I'm a JAKIB guy. You can't do that stuff. You have to evolve. My wife constantly tells me about evolving in the business today. It goes like this. The locker room talk you had 15 years ago, that is not acceptable today because people are not going to have the sense of humor and they're not going to understand what you're going and where it lands. Because that's what I'm a big believer in right now. The things that you and I thought would land here are now landing over here, Angelo. And if you can't identify that, then you're not evolving in the business. And that's why for me, radio, I said radio for me is not for me any longer because there's too many guardrails.
There's a lot of guardrails. And at the end of my tenure, I relied on Rhea all the time. If Rhea would give me a look, like, don't go down that road, I'd back off. My own judgment, I no longer trusted because I'm in my 70s.
Is that really why you left? Is that why
a different world when I came in?
Is that really why you left?
Changed?
Angelo, why did you leave? Why did being on top of your game? And by the way, some of these people, they should be kissing your ass because they're standing on the shoulders of what you did with that morning show and how you built that thing up. They should be kissing your ass. You should be a Doug Peterson statue outside of that thing of what you did. But why did you really, I never heard it. What was the real reason you left radio and WIP? Because you still had juice left.
I had juice left, but I couldn't, I started to know it was time before the pandemic when names weren't coming to me so quickly. There was a day where I couldn't remember that Deshaun Jackson was a starting wide receiver on the Eagles. And he was one of their best players. And I couldn't come up with a name. And it was like, I wanted to, now I'm trying to edit myself as I'm getting it out. And I realized, wow, I'm 67, whatever I was then, 65. And it's like, I got to start looking at the end of the line here. Because there's no way a brain in your 70s is going to work as well as it did in his 40s and your 50s. It wasn't working as well. And, that's why I knew then. And then it was just a matter of figuring out when. And further, as I got closer and closer to the end, I relied on Rhea, who was brilliant at being able to get the name on the air where she could almost read my mind or get me out of a bad spot if I was putting myself in a spot where I could be in trouble and be called in by the bosses. And I relied on her the last few years, more and more and more, and then just waited for the moment when I could get out. And I would have left on a Super Bowl, but Jonathan Gannon ruined it. And now I would love to believe, that 2 years later, I could enjoy a championship by the Eagles strictly as a fan. And I got to say, even though this last weekend, these playoff games were not very good, right? The last night's was pretty good, but the others were not very good. It's still better than any other excitement I have in my life. I love it. I can't wait for 3:00 next Sunday. It's so cool.
Absolutely. Angelo, I love talking with you, man. It's really great. And just hearing you, and boy, I'll tell you what, I mean, you shake them up. Last week, do you know how many people text me?
Come on, I'm sorry. I was trying
no,
to
I
inspire myself again.
I
The
got
one
it.
on Amazon. Oh yeah, I get the wrong side. I don't even know how to do this.
Absolutely. Hey, absolutely. If that guy, it shows you the power of the Eagles, man. I mean,
Yeah.
make
Yes.
that book #1 on Amazon.
And it looks boring as hell, Dan. My book's got to be better than that thing, right?
Absolutely, it is better than that
number
thing.
one.
Absolutely. Angelo, thank you, my friend. Hey, Angelo, man, can we make a date next Monday? Because following the Eagle game versus whomever, can we make a date next Monday?
Oh, let me check my schedule. Oh, wow. Yes, I can. Just name the time, Dan.
I will, Angelo. I'll text you out of time. Thank you, my friend.
Take care, Dan.
You bet. Our good friend Angelo Cataldi. There, so we just booked it for next week. There, yeah, all good, man. Holy, I'm sorry. Hey, Big Sills forgets shit all the time too. So hey, I think maybe I don't know. Okay. Hey, by the way, real quick, Angelo didn't agree with me on your boy Hurts. He thinks it's Kellen and Nick. Okay? He thinks it's Kellen and Nick. There. I see all of you in here going, Sills is so hurt. No. I put people on my program that agree and disagree with me. Just like you're allowed to be on my program because you disagree or agree with me. Isn't that sports talk? Isn't that what sports talk is about? People agreeing and not agreeing? What the hell do you think I do here with this show? I put this show together for one reason, so that we have disagreements and agreements and we have conversation and we debate. Yes, if I were going to make a comparison, this is not the National Football Show anymore. This is the true 700 Club. How you doing? I should name this bitch the 700 Club. And no, well, wait, it's like a religion. Okay? You know that religious show, the 700 Club? This is like a religion too. This is the 700 Club. But some people know what that means, and it's a different meaning. This is officially the 700 Club. How you doing? Gary Cobb's going to join us. That'll be at the bottom of the hour, too. And then Xander's going to join us at the top of the hour. Tell me where we are right now on our likes. Please hit that like button, man. I appreciate it. Okay? Please hit the like button. Give me a total on where we are right now. That's right, Sydney. 235. Come on, guys. Let's get that bitch up to 300. I want that thing at 400 before we get the hell out of here. We got 2 more hours to go. Come on now, man. Make your show killer again. The official 700 Club. That's what we got here going on here, man. I like that, too. That 700 Club where things were settled in a whole different way. Do you not agree? Yeah. Right? Handled in a different way here. Don't forget our good friends at BetUS. Great Monday Night Football game tonight. We will talk about that game, too, tonight. The Vikings and the Rams. Winner will play the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial. And our good friends at BetUS, we've teamed up here with our friends here at JAKIB and along with BetUS for the YouTube 150. That's right. You see it right there. It is a signing bonus of $2K. All you have to do is go and log online. And by the way, your second sign-up bonus is 125%. Your third is also 125%. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts of any website when it comes to signing up with bonuses here. When it comes to sports betting, it's BetUS, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Hell, if you want your own account executive, they will set you up with that as well. Live wagering on all major games. Go Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. Hit that like button, bitches. Appreciate you coming aboard here. Give me a total on that. By the way, bottom of the hour, Gary Cobb will join us, and then we'll get Xander at the top of the 5 o'clock hour. Please hit that like button. Here's Michael G. here. The Sileo 700 Club. Sileo's opinions are just that, opinions. Whether you agree or not, he's entitled to them. Listeners need to enjoy and take what is said with a grain of salt. It's entertainment. Holy shit, somebody in Philly with reasoning. Unbelievable. Michael, unbelievable. Holy shit. Somebody with a brain and reason. I can't believe it. By the way, you know what? One of the greatest things, I told Xander this on the postgame show. One of the coolest things, you guys are all maniacs. Dude, I'm not a maniac. You know I'm a maniac. I love the fact that you guys have this much passion. Hey, fuck you, Sileo. Hurts is the best. He's my guy. And if you don't like it, get out of here. Okay? Get out of here. I hear you. You should act like that. Even you, Red Bottom Sue. Hey, Sue, I got a proposition for you, sweetheart. By the way, you can call me sweetheart too. How you doing? So I got one here for you, Sue. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl, I'll wear red bottoms. And if they lose, you'll wear red bottoms. Deal? How you doing? Come on, Sue. Look at Sue. You wear red bottoms. Look at these gutter minds. Well, is he talking pan? Because he would think that I would talk down to a woman, which I would never. Okay? Look at flexing. Oh, you guys, see, men are so easy. I tell my daughter, see, flexing and stepping. My daughter or my wife would have you cleaning the house. Okay? These are shoes, assholes. Shoes. Tell them, Sue, it's shoes. Holy Madonna to me. You don't talk sex to chicks. That's a sports chick. She would leave. This is sports. What the hell are you talking about? By the way, you're right, Elizabeth. I'm not the boss of my house. My old lady and my kid are. Think I talk shit to a chick? My aunt, my wife, and my kid kick my ass every day. What are you talking about here? Hey, Stu, red bottoms. Okay? Izzy B. Don't worry, Izzy B. I have no say in my house. I've got 2 women, and I've got rescue animals. I have no say in my own home anymore. Yes, I've officially become a simp. You got 2 chicks in your house and animals. I have no say. All right. So wait a minute now. I couldn't wait for this. Angelo Cataldi completely disagreed with me that I said this about Jalen Hurts yesterday. That was pathetic. That was a pathetic performance yesterday by the quarterback. And I'm going to make this clear before we bring Gary Cobb on from Fox 29. They have a great team. That defense is exceptional. Nolan Smith, Gary and I were like this. Dude, I don't know what that is, but that looks like somebody reincarnated. I'm not going to go as high as Derek Thomas, but I don't know who's in that body right now. But somebody's playing in Nolan Smith and witness protection in his body right now because that guy was the best player on the field. All that being said, the quarterback, in my opinion, 39 yards in the first half, and the Green Bay Packers had everybody covered. I want to hear what Gary has to say about the quarterback's performance. I say this, A+ O-line, A+ defense, A+ run game. I think the quarterback's a C dude. Can you win a Super Bowl like this? Now you're moving on to the divisional round. That team beat up Green Bay. Angelo disagreed. Let's hear what Gary Cobb from Fox 29 has to say. G Cobb, are you the man of your own home any longer? I am no longer. I'm now the water boy. Like when we go for rugby events, I'm the water guy. I'm the guy carrying the wagon now. I'm carrying the water. I mean, when you get 2 women in your house, I'm sorry, man. I've been married 35 years. I'm dead.
Well, you know, you have to play different roles. You know, that's part. You have to.
Hey, wait a minute. Hey, Sunsea, educate Grasshopper here. How you can get around all this, please.
You got to play different roles. You know, that's the only way it works. So you might as well know that, hey, quietly, a lot of people have done a lot of things that they haven't owned up to publicly. But
oh yeah, Gary, I have no shame left. It's been beaten out of me. I have absolutely no shame left. Let me get into this, man. Give me your takeaways from yesterday's game.
Well,
Gary Cobb was happy, good, bad, or ugly. How that game turned out for you. What did you feel coming out of that game against the Packers?
Well, of course, coming out of there, thinking about the defense. My goodness, man. These Eagles, and some people have said, some of these numbers, you can't believe these numbers. The fact that, they rated #1 defense and everything. These guys have got some young guys. These guys are playing better. They come into the season and they've been going just like this. And I can't say enough about the way the defense has played. Other people have to look at these other teams that they're going to face. Eagles have a defense. These guys have been playing. Now, hate to see Nakobe Dean go down like that, man.
Wow.
You feel for him, and it wasn't just the injury. You could see it in his eyes, like after the game. All he's put into working with this team and, training and doing everything to get to this point where you're in the playoffs. This is all he's been working for and everything. You feel bad for it. Unfortunately, it's part of the game. You just hate to see it, come at this time where he's put in all the work and everything. And you see the work that they put in being realized because, the way these guys have grown, man, it's amazing.
Are you that's how fast they grew?
Yeah, I'm just amazed by it. But it says something that they're all very intelligent football players. They're smart. These guys are intelligent people. So they've been able to grasp this, and they're just feeding on it more and more. The more they get fed, the better they get, the more they're looking for information and how to do things smarter and how to read, what they're getting ready to see. And they're really ahead of the offenses. I mean, they have been all over everything they try to do, and they sit down and they study these guys, and you know what? It's changed my thinking too, because sometimes I say, shouldn't they be on the field more and everything? But they're in the classroom, and they have gotten better and better and better. I just take my hat off to them.
How about this too, Gary? I went and looked at some of the resumes of the guys that are playing on defense, and you know what I noticed? The personalities in their bios, they're either captains from winning franchises, winning programs.
Yep.
For yourself, when you were at USC and you guys were learning how to win, and then you get into the NFL, I'll tell you one of the biggest things for me, which was something that I took for granted when I was at Miami. I lost one game in 3 years in a regular season. I get to the Bucs. I lost more games in 1 year,
I know,
12 games, than I did my entire career in high school and college combined.
Mm-hmm.
So I was so used to winning.
Yeah.
And you see that when you get placed in a winning organization and you see these players who have been winners, like Q being a captain on his Toledo team, or you had Cooper DeJean, who was a captain on his team. You have these Georgia guys who were in numerous national champion settings. You think that's by design, that the Eagles are recruiting and identifying guys like that along with their talents?
I don't think it's just a coincidence. I think they go in, they're looking for people like that. They're looking for leaders, guys that are going to step in and, set a standard. And where they look the other guys in the face, said, no, this is the way I'm doing it. I'm pushing myself, And if you have guys that are pushing themselves, then, it's not a thing. If somebody says something, hey, man, we need you to take it up a few notches, man. We need better than that. And I think that clearly, these guys have set a standard for themselves, and they're just playing better and better. And, you see, I get a chance to go in there in the locker room and talk to them. They really have something going. They really have something going. And, I got to take my hat off. I haven't seen anything like this to see them make the progress they've made in just this season. And they got a special group, and they got a chance to really do something. And,
what about the quarterback, Gary?
I can't say, of course, I look at it with Jalen. Clearly, he did not, that wasn't anything to write home about, the performance that he had. But I think Jalen has gotten to where, look, if he's not sure about where he's throwing the football, he will throw the ball away, take the sack, but he's decided he's not going to cost this team, their championship run. I think that's his mentality. And as he comes back into things, as he's getting back into the groove and everything, I think that's a smart way to go about it. The only way they lose that game yesterday is he's throwing the ball.
Turnovers.
That's the only way they lose that game. And so he decided he's not going to do it. Now, you see Jordan Love. Jordan Love's throwing the ball up 3 picks. You throw 3 picks, Jordan Love. You figure he's too good of a quarterback to be throwing 3 picks in a game that sends them home. And I give Jalen credit. He knows he's not where he wants to be, where he's seeing the field the way he wants to be. And but he's not going to cost him the game by throwing that ball up for grabs. And I think that's his mentality. And you see throughout this season, he's had other games like this. But he said, no, he's not costing this team. And that's why they won how many, what are they, 11, 12, 10 games in a row,
15.
Yeah. And that's why, because he's going to take care of the football. And even on the first touchdown, he's back there, and the line gave. He got to be back there 5 seconds. How long was he back there on that first touchdown?
Oh, I know, man.
He's back there, and hey, but nobody's giving him any pressure. So rather than take off, he stayed back there. Eventually, a guy comes open. He hits him for the touchdown, and that's where you gotta he's got to have an attitude and realize, look, there's certain advantages they have with that defense. If they didn't have the defense playing like that, then he would be pushed to put some balls up for grabs. But he doesn't have to, because the way that the job they did on the Packers offense, I never thought that they would do that type of job on the Packers offense. But
they roughed him up, Gary. They roughed him up.
Yeah, they did. They had guys carting them off, play after play. And the big thing, though, I don't know that there's a better group in the secondary. I mean, with the way they lock these guys down, man.
Yeah, yep.
But we'll see. Of course, we'll see who they're going to be playing. But it's all about winning, man. It's not all about winning pretty, whatever. No, it's all about one team wins, other team goes home. So I'll give it to Jalen. He knows at some point they're going to have to play better with their pass offense. At some point, they're going to have to play better, because these teams up the road, I mean, when they get against the Lions, let's say, they play the Lions in the NFC Championship game, they're going to have to score some points, I think.
Okay, wait. Gary, wait, look at this. Excuse me. I have to, I'm doing a book review right now. And I'm looking to make a book on Amazon #1 right now.
Okay.
What did you make of all that, with a guy taking out his library card and making a withdrawal from the library and starting reading War and Peace on the sidelines there?
Well,
and he's reading a book because he had one catch. It's a metaphor, because he was doing this. They don't need me. I'm going to use my library card, and I'm just going to read a book. Come on, Gary.
Yeah, I know.
If you saw a guy reading a book or drawing in a comic book, wouldn't you say something to him?
Yeah, I probably would say something to him. But, I'm not going to sweat it, man.
Oh, my God. You're going to let that. I don't believe you. That was bullshit on the sidelines. He's reading War and Peace, and I thought he was auditioning for a movie role.
Yeah, that was
one of Lori's movie roles.
Yeah,
come on, man.
I mean, well, in fairness, they said he was reading this book, was one of those mental health books.
Things.
One of the motivational books. That's what he was reading. Now, in fairness, I haven't seen guys pull a book out, but I've seen guys write stuff on their wrists.
Yeah.
Guy write stuff on his thing, keeping a certain mentality. And I think that's what it was. I don't think he's over there reading that book, but let's say a certain phrase that means something to him. I do think and I've seen a lot of guys, and I think that the best coaches I've had, they talk. It'll be we go into a game and we're trying to remember a certain phrase, a certain mentality. We're trying to play the game, and but I think, come on, I think a guy like AJ, a guy who you can see what a talent he is, and that it's probably not easy to sit there catching one ball, man. You know, and he doesn't want to go off on Jalen. We don't need him going off on Jalen. Okay, but
come on, man.
For him to catch one ball, though, come on, man.
Gary, you're not giving this guy a pass, are you?
I got to give him a pass, man.
Hold on, then. Wait a minute, Gary. I just got a call from the Parkway Library. They want their book back. Okay, it's overdue. It's over at the Parkway Library. Hey, yeah, AJ, the book is ready. We're ready to come get it here. I don't know. All right, we'll move on from that.
No, I seriously think, you got to realize now, and getting real serious about it. AJ had a bout, a while back in his life. He had a bout, mental thing, thinking about doing something to himself. So I think he's guarded about his mindset, and I do think he knows that. Look, I don't want to put so much pressure on myself because he's the kind of guy, and he doesn't want to let that side out. Now, a buddy of yours, Michael Irvin, right? Now, Michael Irvin never had the health problem stuff, but Michael Irvin now, how long is he gonna be happy over there with that one catch? Come on.
Oh no, ain't no way.
One catch.
Hey. Who was the king of chirping? He's it.
Come on. He is not going to sit over there with one catch. And I think that AJ is trying to, he wants to think team first. He don't want to blow the whole thing up. But one catch, he was not a happy
Hey, Michael
camper.
would get on the headset and say, hey, Norv, where we going here?
One catch. And he wasn't exactly playing against. I mean, their best corner was out.
Yeah,
and he gets one catch. So he's just trying. I think with the book and all that stuff was a way of him to be laughing. So after the game, he's laughing rather than blasting Jalen. You know what I mean?
What do you think of Kellen's game plan?
I wasn't thrilled about that either. I mean, even with the running attack, I didn't see a lot of creativity in the running attack and everything. They were able to get some yards, but and then at the end when Saquon does break one and then he pulls up, he hits it on the brakes. Saquon, why are you putting the brakes on? Go ahead and take it to the house, man.
Take that to the house, man.
But I think that it's got to get better. I mean, let's be flat out, man. Not to mince words. They're going to have to play better if they're going to go where they want to go. And their defense pretty much bailed them out because the defense just shut down everything Green Bay was thinking about doing. And because Green Bay needed some big plays and they couldn't get any.
Hey, Gary, who do you think is a better matchup for the Eagles for tonight's game? The winner plays Philly in Philly, Minnesota, or the Rams. You got Stafford, and you've got that 14-win Minnesota team.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who do you think is a better matchup? Brian Flores is on the other side of that. By the way, also, don't forget, you got Sean Desai also in Los Angeles on the other side helping Shula's grandson out, who's the coordinator over there. Plus, you've got Sean McVay as a play caller. Who would you think would be a better matchup, Rams or Vikings?
Man, thinking about the quarterback, I'm thinking about, the guy that's the most experienced.
Yeah.
And with the way Sean McVay, man, they put together a game plan. But the Eagles did a good job against them, though. They did a good job against them. So I guess I would have to say, man, what are they going to get out of the quarterback? I mean, I'll say the toughest is will be Minnesota. But I don't say that confidently though, because Sean McVay and the Rams, they got a ring, and they do a good. I know he does a great job of game planning and everything, but that's pretty tough because Minnesota's got some outstanding receivers as well, but I'm just amazed, man. This doggone, I don't know that either one of them. I'm running afraid of them because our secondary has just been. They've taken on every challenge, man. They haven't backed down to anybody. I guess the worst game they had was against the Commanders, and you had CJ getting thrown out of the game, and hopefully they're gonna have no nonsense like that. But I think they're up for any of these guys, man. I think that they're gonna make the challenge, and either one of these teams, if they're going to beat them, they're going to have to beat them throwing the ball against them. And I don't see anybody having that much success throwing the ball against this Eagles defense, man. They do a great job, man. They lock people down, man.
Last question for you. Vic Fangio's impact on one of these two players, you and me were both saying this about Nolan Smith. I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't see it. And then the emergence of Zach Bond. Gary, you know how that all-pro vote works, man. I can't believe he got the most votes over Fred Warner.
I know.
And how he got it over Roquan Smith. That just doesn't happen when it comes to voting.
He just had a great year, man. This guy's been making plays, playing amazing football.
Since day one, since Green Bay in Brazil.
Amazing, man. Guys had a great year. He's got great instincts, and that really is the number one quality for a linebacker is there's certain guys you can just throw them. It's like dropping them out of a helicopter, the way they do with the soldiers. The guy knows which way to go, where, what to do, and he just plays with great instincts. He has just been playing amazing football. And then now with the turnovers, forcing these turnovers, man, that is what it's all about. And ultimately, that's going to be the key. And if the Eagles keep forcing the other team into a bunch of turnovers and Jalen just takes care of football, hey, look, maybe they go ahead and win a few more games, and every game is 23 to 16 and, 22 to 12, whatever. Hey, if they get the W in that, eventually they got the ring over here. And those guys that get the ring, man, this is the way the guys like to do, come up, put it all in your face and everything.
Hey, I was wrong on the library that he checked that thing out on. Okay, it was Independence Library where he got his book, War and Peace, or that inspirational thing. Positive Mental Attitude with W. Clement Stone or something.
It's got to get better, man, with the passing attack. And, at least, AJ didn't blow up. Because I know that probably was feeling like blowing up.
No, one catch. You knew internally, man. He read that book to calm his nerves. You know that.
Hey.
That's what he was doing because he was so pissed that how that was going down. This guy had to be distracted from the game. He was so
upset. It. One catch. Come on, one catch. Come on. Hey, he can't be happy about that. But we got to get this thing, hopefully they get that straightened out. But if the defense is going to play every game where they give up 10 points, that may be the road to the Super Bowl right there. Hey,
you're right.
Only give up 10 points? Come on.
Absolutely. Gary, I appreciate it, my friend. Should be interesting. Next week should be interesting to see who wins this ball game tonight. Will tell us a lot because the 3 p.m. Eastern time game on NBC will be on Sunday. So make sure you catch our good friend Gary Cobb on Fox 29 there in Philadelphia. Appreciate it, Gary. Thank you, my friend.
Have a good one.
You got it, Gary Cobb. Yeah, I'm just looking at the libraries here, and I'm assuming it's not Parkway. It's Independence Library that the diva of all divas, A.J. Owens, he's back. Do you understand what he did? He was so upset with Sue and everyone else with his one catch. I am so pissed off at Big Joe and Z, I got to read something here. Here's War and Peace. Better yet, I got something else to read. 7 years ago, our father fought forth upon this continent to form a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated that all men shall be created equal. Now that we are engaged in this great civil war, both sides, North and South, will come together here to form one union under God. Ugh. How I know this, I have no idea. Okay? It must have been on a dare that I know the Gettysburg Address. Okay? Okay, so Susan Stills is in love with Runaround Sue. I like that. Nah. Big Sills, hey, when you're married for 35 years, you're not in love anymore. Okay? I'm like in a dorm room. Yeah. You're just like in a dorm room. All right. Hey, don't forget our great friends. Xander's going to join us at the top of the hour, too, by the way. We've had a packed show. Where are we on the like list right now? Holy cow. Everyone knows Jalen Hurts has got to play better. All the Jalenites in here, man. Where are we? How many likes do we have? Let's see where we are in the like list. I want to get to 400, man, by the time we get the hell out of here. Xander will be with us at the top of the hour. We appreciate it. Sills is a one-man woman. Unfortunately, that's true. 291. Hey, man, we got a shot at 400. Let's go here, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Yeah, we're going to reset. We'll reset everything at the top of the hour with Xander Krauss. Almost 300. Way to go, guys. We got 1 hour to get 100 likes. Want to see if we can nail that number here, too. By the way, I just got a text from Howard. I'm hoping I can get Howard Eskin tomorrow. Okay? We're working diligently on it, too, to try to get that. So hit that like button. Hey, don't forget our great friends at BetUS for the YouTube 150. This football season, like tonight's game, Rams and Vikings, you get to team up with our friends at BetUS to make yourself a wager and make yourself some money. That's what this bad puppy's all about, is right there with the YouTube 150. Sign-up bonuses up to $2K. Your second and third are 125%. If you're into crypto, that's 200%. Most people are into crypto, and that sign-up bonus up to $2K. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa, home of Michael Vick. Fastest payouts in the business. Live wagering on all major games like tonight's game. Wild card weekend will come to a close tonight, and you can team up with our friends over at BetUS. Log online to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa, and do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. I believe we're around 88 likes away from 400. Be good for a Monday. We appreciate you guys. All supers go to the top. Love hearing from Gary Cobb and also from Angelo Cataldi. Real quick. The North Carolina head football coaching job is a better coaching job than the Dallas Cowboys. Why? We're going to talk a little bit before we get Xander at the top of the hour about Nick Sirianni and what he said yesterday after the game. Why do you think it's a better job than the Dallas Cowboy job? That Carolina job, do you know how much money Bill Belichick is making being the head coach at UNC? He's making north of $10 million. Okay? He's making north of $10 million with incentives. Bill can make $15 million this coming year. And you don't have to listen to anybody. The Dallas Cowboy job is the worst job in football because you have no say. It's a frustrating job. You can't get what you need, and you can't do what you want to do because you got people meddling in your way. The Dallas Cowboys put so many speed bumps in the way of coaches since Jimmy Johnson. It's unbelievable, and that's why all these coaches end up wrecking in the end. There's too many speed bumps. You can't navigate through all the speed bumps it takes to coach there. It's a bad environment. The North Carolina head football coaching job, do I think that's a premier job? No. But you give me $15 million a year with incentives, 10 base, and I can make $15 million, and I can go 8-4. Nobody's going to give me shit about it, and I can run my own ship, and I don't have to listen to assholes like Jerry Jones. Why would I take that job in Dallas? Dude, the Don Shula record doesn't mean that much to me. You know why? Does anybody know Don Shula won 2 Super Bowls? Bills won 6. This guy's tripled them. He's a better coach than Shula. Well, I got the all-time regular season whatever thing. Who cares? I want the most Super Bowls. I don't want the most wins. Who do you think I am? M. Reyes. M. Reyes wants the most wins, not the Super Bowl. He'll tell you in here all the time. Okay? He'll tell you. 15-3. And what about your one Super Bowl? I know, but 15-3. M. Reyes, the king of big numbers. Or wait, false hope. That's all he wants. M. Reyes don't want a Super Bowl. He wants 15-3. That's right. And by the way, you know what M. Reyes also says? No. I'm not. Hey, you know what I'm going to do from now on with Jalen Hurts? You know what I'm going to do? I'm not even going to bring up his numbers anymore. I'm just going to bring up his play. He stunk. He stunk. Holy shit. Tyrod Hurts is his new name. Hey, hold on here for a minute. I like that. Tyrod Hurts. What fits better? Tyrod Hurts? Wishbone Hurts? Jalen Tebow? What's better? Cordell Hurts. I love that. Let's see. Tyrod Hurts, Wishbone Hurts, Wildcat Hurts. Oh, I know. Tyson Hurts. Like Tyson Hill. Tyson Hurts. There's Tyson Hurts with a pass out to A.J. Owens. Tyson Hurts. Oh, no, he's an elite runner, man. I'll tell you, I've never seen anybody run the ball better at quarterback. Oh, wait. The guy in Baltimore is a superstar. The guy in Josh Allen. Woo! Holy shit, was that guy great. You see my boy Josh Allen versus that same Steeler team? Woo! Holy shit. Wait a minute. Remember Jalen's great numbers? Let's see. Hold on here for a minute before I get Xander Krauss on here. Hang on. Let's take a look. Man, holy shit. Josh Allen. Let's see what that freak show did. 272, 2 touchdowns, 46 yards rushing, and he's won his 14th ball game. Wow. Who was he throwing to? Let's take a look here who he's throwing to. Curtis Samuel. He was throwing to Shakir. By the way, she has one of the most fabulous asses of all time. Shakir. Is that the dancer chick? He's throwing to Shakir. Is that who that is? He's throwing Curtis Samuel, Shakir, Bolton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Ty Johnson. Look at these guys. Who the frig are these dudes? How many people did he throw the ball to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And these are the guys' names. Curtis Samuel, Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, Ty Johnson, Mark Collins, Amari Cooper, and Keon Coleman. Yeah. And your guys throwing to Devontae Smith and the bookworm, A.J. Owens. I didn't know he had a library card over at Independence Library. I just heard, man, they checked it out and they want the book back. War and Peace. Hey, by the way, this just in, Cross and Broad, you're welcome to any of my content. I'll forward it over to you when you need it so you can write your stupid blog and whatever you guys are doing. Just let me know if I need any help. All right. God knows where we're going here. Oh, my God. You know what? Hey, Kellen Moore's the problem. This is what I heard today. Kellen Moore's the problem. Rust. Numbers don't matter. Hey, if the quarterback plays like shit, that don't matter either. He just wins. It doesn't matter if my quarterback doesn't play well. Hey, as long as he wins. Okay. Well, that line only works if you're the reason they win. With all that being said, the man who's putting together one of the best studios that you can imagine, the king of the giveaways, this guy's Santa in January. He is our guy, Big C, Xander Krauss.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How you feeling today, homie?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. Moving on to the divisional round. A couple takeaways I have from the game that we'll get into, obviously, but you know, you want it to look a little prettier than that. But at the end of the day, you get the win and you move on. You live to see another day. But I'm feeling pretty good overall, Big Sills. We gave away a Quinyon jersey that ultimately turned into an AJ Owens jersey because of sizing. But I'm feeling pretty good, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. What'd you make of that whole scene there with the guy reading his, I don't know, I thought he was reading his memoirs on the sidelines there. And he just started opening up a book. He knew it was a metaphor. And I said it yesterday on the postgame show that it was a metaphor when he was letting everyone know, hey, since they don't need me, I'm going to open up my book and go to chapter 7 where I left off. I highlighted it even. I saw the highlights, and I saw him even start highlighting again there on the sideline. This guy was really engaged in that book.
Yeah,
it certainly
looked like that. I mean, it certainly came off that way. I did see some people posting out a bunch of stuff that people tagged me in, you know, of him reading in week 5 or 8 or whatever it was. So he's been doing it all year long, I guess. And look, the guy got 1 catch for 10 yards, man. Whether it was a message or not, I'm not really mad at him because I'm of the belief that he's such a good player. We need him to go to the Super Bowl. We need him to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. To not use him in a game in the playoffs, I think is just egregious. I really do. And, you know, I don't know if he was trying to send that message or not. I don't want to go soft on everybody or that, you know, route that Gary went, but he's not wrong about it. I don't struggle with anything like that. So I can't really speak on it from that perspective, but AJ did kind of have a moment a couple of years ago where he spoke about almost taking his own life and some of that stuff. I'm not saying that's tied into it. I'm just saying I think there is an element of people, and again, I don't struggle with this. I have sympathy for those who do, but I can't speak from a personal perspective. I would imagine that those people have a process to try and calm their mind in those moments. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's not it. Maybe it's him being a total diva. I don't know. At the end of the day, get AJ Brown the frickin' ball more, okay? He's a star receiver. Get him the ball. That's all I'll say about it. I don't care that he did it at the end of the day, but look, the perception is certainly 100% what you made it out to be. The perception of how it looks is it doesn't look good. It looks like he's trying to stir up the pot a little bit. He's being a little bit of a drama.
Sileo.
That's the perception. I don't know if that's the truth or not. Maybe he does read it every single game. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But I'm not going to make too much of it other than get him the damn ball, man. He's a damn good player. You know, Jalen Hurts, for all the talk that we have about him, and for all the people who have moved the goalpost, and that's fine. I have too, and I'll acknowledge that later on in this segment on moving the goalpost on Jalen. That's fine. But if you're going to move the goalpost and say, okay, we just need him to be a game manager and throw for 140 yards and not have any turnovers, then what do game managers do, Sills? Game managers get their playmakers involved in the game. You got a playmaker of A.J. Brown's caliber. I'm not going to crush you for passing yards. I'm not going to crush you for the 2 touchdowns. But get A.J. Brown the ball. It's not that hard. I think it helps your team win the Super Bowl, all right? And that's what I'll say about it.
How'd you think he played yesterday?
Not good. Not good at all. You know,
why are people coming up with every freaking excuse? I'm not telling you that Kellen called a great game, but you know what he did call? He called a game that won. And that guy's objective is to win games. He's not there to make Jalen Hurts look better. He's there to win ball games, and he's won 15 of them. You can't have it both ways here where you're doing this. Hey, look, the passing game is just not good, and he has not helped Jalen. Well, that guy's responsibility is not to make Hurts look good. His responsibility has been brought in to win games and get you to a Super Bowl. That's the number one objective in that huddle. And in his opinion, taking the ball out of his hands and putting it more into the run game, and in that is more on what's going to be a winning formula. Do you understand what he's telling you? He's telling you that AJ's not going to be a major factor in us getting to the Super Bowl because, in my opinion, they have come to the realization Hurts has to make 2 plays, 3 plays a game. But the big plays are not turnovers. They would rather have no touchdowns, in my opinion, passing touchdowns, than have 2 turnovers or 1 turnover in the game. The turnover factor for him is the key component. I can't remember the last time he had a turnover. The touchdowns to me yesterday, they were good. But quite frankly, I mean, he does not utilize that offensive huddle.
No, he
Like,
doesn't.
I saw those guys using like Allen and Lamar and all these guys that win ball games. And like you've said, even this year, Patrick Mahomes did not have a great year this year, but they win because of him.
Yeah.
You can't keep giving me that line. Well, all Hurts does is win. Well, not. Dude, I thought of all the guys in the offensive huddle, he was the least important guy in the huddle in that game. That's how I saw that.
Well, you're going to bring me to my next point here, all right? And I want you to let me get it. I got 2 takeaways, okay? I have 2 takeaways right now from the game. I want you to let me say them both before you chime in, because you're going to like one and you're going to not like the other. And many people in here will dislike a different one that you dislike, okay? My first takeaway is this. Jalen Hurts is the caboose. Sileo has been saying that all year, and it's become evident that I don't want to hear about 22. I'm not saying he didn't do it then. In this offense, on this team, in this offense that has a chance to go to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts is the caboose. You could make an argument. I'm not saying this. You can make an argument that Jalen Hurts is the worst player in the offensive huddle. I think A.J. Brown's a better wide receiver, 1. I think Devontae Smith's a better wide receiver, 2, than Jalen is a quarterback. I think Saquon Barkley's the best running back in the league. That speaks for itself. I think you have 5 all-pro level offensive linemen in that huddle. And Dallas Goedert shows you what he can do if he gets the ball. So, again, Jalen Hurts is the caboose. That's my take number 1. All right. My take number 2 is that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. And I'm saying that right now because they continue to defy all of the modern game that we are seeing unfold across all the rest of the league. We keep saying, and you keep being right, by the way, Jalen Hurts doesn't look good. He doesn't. Like, we all know it. Whether we want to admit it publicly or not is a different thing. He doesn't look like he did in 22.
I'm writing notes down
He
for what
doesn't,
you're saying.
right? He doesn't. This team Chills, think about it. We missed more tackles yesterday than we have since week 4. We had 4 guys on defense miss snaps. We lost Nakobe Dean. A.J. Brown had 10 yards, 10 freaking yards from your number 1 guy. And you beat a playoff team by 12 points, their biggest loss of the year. Like, how does that add up? And what I'm saying is it might not look like I want it to look. It might not look pretty. And yeah, Jalen Hurts might stink right now. But at the end of the day, this team is built so good that I am actually starting to believe we're really going to win a Super Bowl this way. And we're going to defy everything that is set up in the modern NFL because the running game's too good. The offensive line's too good. And forget, the defense is too freaking good. Nobody can move the ball in this team. We watched one guy move the ball in this defense. One guy, Baker Mayfield in week 4. That was the only time you really watched the quarterback go to work on this defense. I haven't seen it since. Jordan Love was in hell yesterday. Jordan Love went 7 games straight with no interceptions. He came in yesterday and had 3 picks. He was seeing ghosts from everywhere. Vic Fangio had him in prison yesterday. Literally. And if you put all that together, Hurts is the caboose, but who cares? The team might win the damn Super Bowl.
Okay, here's again. Their physical play yesterday knocked 5 offensive starters out. You're not going to look good. And that's not an excuse. That's a reality of what they did because of the physicality of the Eagles. Again, I'm just talking about what happened in the game. And they did. They physically beat them up. And I will agree with you on this with Hurts. What I think has happened, they're in the bye, and it's evolved into where they are. They've created a role for Hurts. He is in a small box role, whereas a year ago, he had a giant sandbox. And they saw what he did in the first 4 games this year. And they saw what he did last year. And they redefined his role. It's more limited. They're not going to lean on him whatsoever. All they want him to do, the most important thing, like I said, and, somebody brought something up earlier. Sills, didn't they define a role for Aikman? Didn't they define a role for Sims? Didn't they make it inside the structure of what they wanted to accomplish, where the quarterback has to submit to it and the quarterback has to live within those roles? Yeah, and live within those limits. Jalen Hurts is not going to be a guy that's going to throw for over. And there may be a game where you see 275 or 300 yards. But his role is going to be in the room of between 140, 160, 50 yards rushing, and that's who he is. And quite frankly, you've learned to live with it because you've got 15 wins to prove it, because that's what he's been pretty much outside of one off game. And the Steeler game is now becoming, for me, well, that was just an off game where he had a good game. Guys are going to have some good games where he kind of came out of the sandbox a bit. But that kid's not going to be the reason that you win the Super Bowl. And your record, where it is right now, he benefits from that like he benefited from it when he was at Alabama. He's got great players around him. He plays within a role that Nick defined for him, and they're doing exactly what Nick Saban did at Alabama around him. With all those talented players, they're taking a page out of Nick Saban's page of how they coached him, and they kept him in a small box until they got someone better, and they replaced him with Tua. That's what's happened in Philadelphia with him, that they have defined a Nick Saban role for him on his team. And like you said, Xander, if it results in a win, he's basically, in my eyes, Brad Johnson. We talked pre-show about Trent Dilfer, Jeff Hostetler kind of guy. He's one of those dudes, man. But he's not an exceptional player. He's a player that fits the role that they've designed for him. And right now, that formula is working, and you move on and advance. That's how I saw that whole. That's how the whole season is played out, and that's where I think he is right now.
Yeah, and I don't think you're far off. Now, I'd ask you this though as a follow-up: what is the role? Like, what is the defined role? Because I was talking to somebody. I was talking to somebody earlier today about Jalen and about the game and about the team, and he's like, "Yeah, Jalen's a game manager," and I'm like, "Okay, let me think about this for a second here." Brock Purdy, would you call him a game manager?
A system manager, sure.
Okay.
But they create a system for his skill set.
Yeah, but I don't even know if they did that. I think it's even less than that. I think they're asking him to do even less than you're insinuating. He's not even like, you go into a playoff. Think about this.
Purdy or Hurts?
And this is where I'll knock Kellen more because
Hurts or Purdy?
About what?
Hurts. You just said Hurts. Oh no. They've defined a role to him where he's got to make 2 or 3 plays in a game that are going to be essential for him to make plays. That's why, like you said, not to have the slant in that game plan was egregious yesterday because there's no way Green Bay could cover it. But I watched something on the 22, Xander. I couldn't believe something that I saw. Dan Orlovsky pointed it out too. And then I went and watched it on the 22. Every single pre-snap guy was covered. And they knew prior to the snap what they were going to do. Do you understand that the coordinators know who Hurts is in the passing game? They know if they stay on their guy for 3 seconds and he's not down in the red zone, Jalen's going to bail right, and he's going to try throwing on the run. And that's exactly what Green Bay's philosophy was the entire game. All you need is 3 seconds on the cover, and Jalen's going to bail. Because
haven't we proven, Sills, that even with all those deficiencies, which I don't disagree with, by the way, that we can just win? Like, it doesn't really matter.
Oh, you're a great team.
Huh?
You're a great team.
Yeah. I mean, like, all those things, you're not wrong. Those things all still exist with Jalen Hurts. We won 15 games. You know what I mean? Like,
that's why they're defining a role.
And now you did it in a playoff game, which I think
but they're defining a role. They're defining a role.
I just think he's doing even less. Like, I think about game managers and how do you have AJ Brown? If you're a good game manager, what you do is you get the ball to the guys who are dominant.
You're Purdy.
And this is where I'll put on Kellen Moore too, though. How do you let AJ Brown have 10 yards? If I went into halftime in that game, which, by the way, he had his first catch in the first half, how do you not look at the numbers at halftime, come out in that game, you got the ball at the start of the second half with a chance, by the way, to go up 17-0 in the game and really destroy Green Bay? I don't care if it's a jet sweep. I don't care if you hand a ball off to AJ Brown. Get the guy the ball.
Why doesn't Jalen audible to it then?
That's it. That's another good point. everybody's ripping in on Kellen Moore, and Dan Orlovsky made this great video, and I watched it. I understand.
Why doesn't he audible?
I'm not saying Kellen Moore had a good plan. I'm not. But early in the season, everybody told me how great it was. Forget early in the season. Yesterday, at the post-game press conference, Nick Sirianni gave Jalen Hurts credit for checking into the play that Dallas Goedert got a touchdown on. Great. Awesome job by Jalen. Does he have no other autonomy in the game to call a better route? Does he have no autonomy to call a hot route? Does he have no autonomy if he sees a blitz to hot route, AJ, run a slant here.
He does.
I need a quick out.
That's on Hurts.
But again, it goes back to my prior point. We can sit here and talk about Jalen Hurts all day, all right? Because you're right. I'm with you. I don't think it's pretty. We can win with it. We keep proving we can win with it.
No, you can't win with it. You are winning with it.
Exactly. We are winning with it. We are winning with it. And I'm at a point now where I believe this team is going to continue to defy the odds of modern NFL football. And they keep doing it. They've done it all year long. Vic Fangio deserves all the credit in the world for what he's done with this defense because, again, they have been lights out in so many different circumstances. It's hard not to believe in that group. I really think we have a chance to win the Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts not playing much better. And I said that before the playoffs, and maybe I was wrong yesterday to up my expectation, right? I told you, I'm like, he doesn't have to be that great, and he wasn't that great. Forgive me. I expected a little bit more. I thought the playoffs were here. Jalen's going to take it to a new level. He's going to get the ball out. He's going to throw for some yards in this game. He's going to be a difference maker. Still, she said he made 3 big plays. I can think of one big play where he rolled out to the left and he completed the ball to Devontae Smith.
The Goddard play was nice. The Goddard play was good because he did
touchdown play.
The Goddard play he checked into was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good to check into it. He also put the ball 3 yards behind Dallas Goedert. He had to go and get it, and you're lucky he ran so aggressive on that play.
And the only place that I saw him with patience was when he was in the red zone and he found Dotson in the back of the end zone. The rest of it, I thought it was garbage.
The Dotson play was good. The Goddard play was it was solid. I'll give him the check. I'll give him the check.
5-yard pass. So I mean,
and the Devontae Smith play. The Devontae Smith play, I thought was a nice play by him to roll out left. And
2 or 3 plays in the game.
Yeah,
he's being asked. The rest of them, 39 yards in the first half. He got like 70 or 80 in the second half. He wasn't really asked to do anything in the ball game. And here's what people have to come to the conclusion of. You're right, guys. Hurts doesn't have to be a great player for you to win. He just doesn't have to turn the ball over. And if he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to be in every game. My question would be this, though. That team is so far away. That team is so close and are a quarterback away from destroying everybody they step on the field with, and your quarterback keeps Green Bay in it. 2 for 11 on third downs.
Yeah.
How do you fucking not put up 45 points on a team that turned the ball over 4 times? How do you not do that?
Look, I don't disagree with you, and because I went into the halftime show and I'm like, to be up 10 right now with 3 Green Bay turnovers in the first half is
and it got to 6.
It's just bad, right? But at the end of the day, that's where I think there's a little lenience here on playoff games where, there's going to be that. There's going to be moments in a game where, you're not able to capitalize every time, or the game just somehow is closer than it should be. That's kind of playoff football.
Yeah, but he's played like that all year.
Yeah, but we keep winning. So what am I, how am I supposed to, look, I think the defense, I think Saquon, I think the offensive line. I think those are the 3 things right there.
So you think you can beat Detroit like that?
I in my heart of hearts, I have a hard time believing that our defense will be able to slow down that number 1 offense. And then I have a good topic for you, by the way, speaking of that Detroit team. But they continue to defy everything. Like I said, they continue to do this and win it. If I told you yesterday, that Jalen Hurts would drop a stinker and AJ Brown would have 10 yards in the game, would you have thought we would win even after winning 14 games in the regular season?
And 4 turnovers.
Well, if I told you that, you'd probably say, yeah, you did win, right? But I don't know.
You were 2 for 11, like you said.
He continues to not play great, and we continue to keep winning. So, he continues to prove me wrong. It doesn't feel like we can beat Detroit against them. Shit, I like it. Look, it is what it is. Any given Sunday, go out and bash them, but get Jared Goff off his spot. My fear with that is, they're going to – Ben Johnson's a smart offensive coordinator. He's going to get Jahmyr Gibbs up against Oren Burks all day. And that would have been a mismatch against Nakobe Dean. It's an even bigger mismatch against Oren Burks, and that dude can run routes. He runs routes like a wide receiver, for crying out loud. So that would be the mismatch there. But I'm sure Vic will shift something. Maybe he runs a little bit of big nickel, brings in an extra safety in there. I don't know
who
what
has the advantage in that game, Ben Johnson or Vic Fangio then?
Well, you know, John always says good offense in the modern NFL beats good defense. And I think in a way he's right because the legislation is that way, right? They've legislated the entire game in the NFL to be more for offense.
Good. That's right.
So you kind of took my topic there, but it's good. I want to ask
the rules are set up for that.
Let me ask you a question, all right? And it's about what we're talking about right here. Who's the best unit left in the NFL? The Eagles defense or the Lions offense? I think those are the two best standalone units.
Lions offense.
You think the Lions offense is better than the Eagles defense?
I do.
Well, then that would be a reason for you to believe that the Lions will win that game.
I do.
If you believe the Eagles off defense, which I believe it is, can slow down that Lions offense. I'm not saying slow them down in a big way, but I did just watch our offense sputter and struggle and still get themselves into 22 points on the board. So if you can slow them down from 34 to 26.
Let's not forget something about the Packers. They're the third best team in the North. We're not talking about an elite offense. We're talking about a well-coached team that did not play well yesterday and lost a lot of bodies. But that football team was kind of a punching bag to Minnesota and Detroit in that really good division where you had two teams with north of 14 wins play in that division. They're the third best. That would be like saying that the Cowboys, that'd be like you struggling against the Cowboys in that division. I mean, Green Bay was a decent team heading in. Nobody ever thought Green Bay was a Super Bowl contending team. People are not sure about Darnold, but that looks like a pretty damn good roster with Minnesota. But that Detroit offense, and once again, that Detroit offense is balanced. They're number one in scoring. They're in the top three in rushing and throwing the ball. And you got a coordinator who's probably the best coordinator defensively and offensively in the NFL this year, who's going to get a massive job, whatever job he feels in Ben Johnson. I mean, bro.
It's a tough matchup. There's no doubt.
Detroit is a 15-win team, and they're the reason why they got home field advantage. Now,
somebody sent a really good super chat this morning, Sills. Do you think the Lions playing the Commanders this week is nice for the Lions, assuming that we play each other in the NFC title game? Because think about it. They're game planning for a dual-threat quarterback this week. You know what I mean? It's not that easy to switch. And in a way, I feel like they can take some of those things that they'll run against Jaden Daniels against the Eagles. But again, I like us in the game. I think they're a good-ass team. I do not delegitimize them like I think some Eagles fans do. That offense is freaking legit, man. They move the ball. Jared Goff's on time and on target. He's on the money. Jahmyr Gibbs is probably playing like one of the best top three backs in football right now, obviously behind Saquon and Derrick Henry. I think he's number 3 right there. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a beast. He just finds the open space on zone defenses. And, I think, look, I'm with you. I'm awake. Bring it. Bring it on. It's going to be a great matchup, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. I do want to tip my hand. I do want to tip my cap a little bit too to one thing, and that's Jeff Hafley and that Packers defense. I think even bigger than the Eagles winning that game yesterday, I think Jordan Love lost that game for the Packers. Yeah. If you look at that defensive performance by Green Bay to only give up 22 there, when you started on your opening drive at your own 28-yard line, your offense coughed the ball up 4 times, and you give up 22 points to the number 2 seed, and your quarterback. I saw someone say he missed the 4th down throw. You're right, he missed out on the sideline. Maybe they would have went down and scored there. Well, I'm not going to believe it because they had a spot in the red zone that Jordan Love missed 2 throws to wide open guys in the end zone. I mean, the dude choked away so many moments for that Green Bay offense to get back in the game. Every time the Eagles didn't capitalize, I was like, why are you letting this team hang around? Put him away. Put him away. And then the Green Bay offense couldn't do shit.
Yeah, but I thought what Vic did also in those post-snap coverages too, I thought it confused them. The one pass right to the chest bone of Zach Bond was an indicator to that on how he was doing post-snap. It completely confused the routes for the receivers, and the quarterback wasn't really believing what he was seeing out there. That's a lot to do with coverages also and moving the coverage around post-snap. He did a really great job of doing that last night. against that Packer team. He really was exceptional. I thought Vic Fangio, that was his best called game yesterday in the amount of situation and what it meant when it comes to playing in a playoff game. He was just utterly out and out exceptional in that football game. Let me ask you a question here. Who would you rather have as an opponent this weekend? Would you rather have Minnesota or would you rather have the Stafford Rams?
All right, so I'm a little torn right now. All right, I'm a little torn right now. But if you're going to make me pick one, which I will do, I'm going to go unconventional here, and I'm going to say the Vikings. All right, and here's why. I just watched the quarterback that we all had questions about come into the playoffs and throw 3 picks for the first time in 8 games, okay? A pick for the first time in 8 games, and he ended up with 3 on the game. They turned the ball over 4 times. I do not believe that Sam Darnold, when the lights are bright in Philly, will be able to manage and deal with our defense. So I'm not saying the Vikings aren't a good team. I'm not saying they're not going to slow down our offense. I think they will, in fact. I think it'll look a lot similar to the Packers game, where their offense can't get shit going, just like they couldn't get shit going against the Detroit defense in Week 18. And I think they're going to stall. They're going to score 10 to 13 to 16 points somewhere in there, and the Eagles will be able to run the ball and win the game because they're going to walk themselves into 20-plus points like they have all year long. So I'm going to go Vikings there simply because I truly believe you can turn that quarterback to a pumpkin, and even maybe worse than Jordan Love was turned into a pumpkin yesterday. I believe that, and if you look at the Rams, that defense is spotty. Remember, we beat them. Yes, we beat them, but they were very banged up at that time of the year. They're actually one of the few teams that's gotten healthier later in the year going into the playoffs. Yep. And they have a seasoned veteran quarterback that throws the ball to tight windows. And I'm not saying I don't think we could beat Stafford. I'm just saying if you're going to make me pick, I'm going to take the lesser of the 2 quarterbacks, and that's Sam Darnold.
What if Darnold has a bounce-back game and throws for 350 yards tonight?
Well, then we're going to be talking about Eagles-Vikings all week, aren't we?
But wouldn't that be where, again, remember what I told you? I told you in that there's no question he gagged a big one in that Lions game, but he's never been in this situation before. I completely agree with you on the Vikings. My assessment of the Vikings would be this. Here would be how I would look at them. Darnold, I've said it before, man, and I'll do it again. Darnold, I want to see where you are in these games. You've never been in them. I don't know. Either way, I saw you in one game that looked like it was a playoff game, and you did not look very good. I give you a ton of credit for winning 14 ball games. That's quite an accomplishment, because you were one of the engines. Unlike Hurts, you're one of the engines that got you that 14 wins.
Yeah, he is.
So I look at him and I say, that's impressive, but I don't know who he is postseason Darnold. The only thing with the Vikings now, dude, Brian Flores has 3 Super Bowl rings, and he worked with Belichick there in New England, and you're talking about a guy who knows how to scheme up defenses, and that defense with that Van Kinkel kid, they can play. Van Kinkel's also an all-pro guy, and they've got guys that can rush the passer. Their secondary's pretty decent. Flores has one of the top resumes. Let's not forget, he turned that whole situation around in Miami with winning because of what he brought down from New England. It was never, get this, Xander, it was never Patricia who was the assistant up there. It was Flores, who was the 17-year assistant in New England that was working with Belichick. He was the guy. And I'll say it again. I mean, I think they have more of a balanced roster, but this comes down to the quarterback, man. I mean, I think Kevin O'Connell shows me a lot on what he is as a play caller. I think he's a really good one, but it's going to come down to Darnold. On the Rams, Stafford is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. He's got a Hall of Fame arm, but he doesn't really have a Hall of Fame resume. Here's a guy that's lost a ton of ball games, man.
Yes,
and recently, since he's been with the Rams, it's changed the narrative around a little bit. And I disagree with John McMullen. You have to ask John one day, man. In 8 years, Sean McVay's won 4 division titles and 2 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. If that's over fucking rated, what is Nick Sirianni?
Yeah,
that's where he is exceptional in the postseason, and he's a great play caller. I do agree with you on their defense. I think their defense is spotty for a reason. because they're young at a lot of positions. They're young in the safety position, they're young at a corner, and they're young up front. So to me, I think they've gotten better as the seasons come along. And also, I think they're deeper. Their roster is coming along, and so is their offensive game plan. Their running back, that Corinne Williams kid from Notre Dame, he's absolutely had himself a pretty good year. If I were picking what team don't I want to see, it's a tough one here, man, because I think the Vikings have more talent. I think the Rams have more experience, and especially at the coaching position. Remember something. Who did Kevin O'Connell work for? He worked for Sean McVay. So to me, I think it's the Rams that I don't want to see at Lincoln Financial, because do I really think Sam Darnold is going to walk into Philadelphia and win a game? Or do I think Matthew Stafford could go into Philadelphia and win a game? I think Stafford is the only guy that could go in there
you're seeing it
win a ball
like
game.
Yeah, you're seeing it more like me, where you'd almost rather play the Vikings even though they have the 14 wins.
Yeah, because I don't know who the QB is. Now
Right.
watch. The QB can fucking surprise. He's surprised us all year. Okay? They won 14. He can. But I want to see him surprise me again.
Yeah, well, the playoffs are a different story, and the only playoff type game that they've had this year, he shit the bed. So I'm only going off what I've seen. I think both of those matchups are favorable for us. By the way, I think this team is going to the NFC title. I think buckle up, everybody. They're going to win next week in the divisional round. I don't care who you play, and gear up, because I don't anticipate the Washington Commanders, for as great as they've been. And James Jones, I tip my cap to your team, brother. What an amazing, unbelievable turnaround Dan Quinn has done over there in Washington. Jaden Daniels as well. What a special player he's going to be. We're going to be dealing with him for a long time in the city of brotherly love. So I tip my cap to you guys. I do not believe you're going to be able to keep up with that Lions offense. They are a freaking damn good team. You guys are maybe a little bit out, but hey, James, I said the same thing too, about you guys going up against the Bucs. Maybe they could upset it, but Big Sales, to me, this looks like Eagles Lions, man. Eagles freaking Lions. NFC title game for the marbles.
You made a comment about Jordan Love and saying that Jordan Love was the reason they lost that game in Green Bay. You're correct. And I'll make the comment here because I see some people making a comment. Jalen Hurts was not the reason you won yesterday. Jordan Love is going to be the reason the Packers win or lose. That's not the case with your quarterback. Your quarterback, again, if he plays great, you're not touchable. Okay? If your quarterback has a B game, you're not going to be fucked with. If your quarterback plays C or D+, you keep a team like Green Bay in it.
What would you grade him out yesterday?
D+. No, wait, C. You know why? He didn't have a turnover and he won.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't really see anything where I go like this. That guy's when I'm watching exceptional players, you saw him over the weekend. I don't have to name him. He's not one of them. Okay, when I see exceptional, Barkley's exceptional. Zach Bond. Hey, and I got to say this to you, Xander. This fucking kid, Nolan Smith, was the best player on the field for the Eagles, along with Zach Bond. They were the two best players.
Knocked two Packers guys out of the game.
I mean, they were the two best. Dude, this goddamn Zach Bond kid, man. I made a comparison. It's a crazy comparison, but I haven't seen a linebacker like that, cover like that, since Derek Brooks. He's down the field 35 yards covering downfield guys, and he's filling gaps, and he's out in the perimeter. He's getting intercepts. I mean, how's that guy not the defensive player of the year?
I think he should be. He might not get it because
he ain't getting it.
He's like,
I don't know who would. Who's played to a point where they were so exceptional this year, where you went like this? I mean, Myles Garrett was good. Are you really going to give that to Trey Hendrickson? I don't think so. There was no guy. He had 17 sacks on a shitty defensive line. I'm not giving him that.
Who do you think
in the number one defense? He's the number one defensive football team, and he's the number one inside linebacker right now. I don't know, man. Maybe Pat, are you going to give it to Patrick Surtain after what Josh Allen just did to that team? I don't know, man. I don't know how you don't give that or make a serious comment for him on being the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. I just don't.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if we'll get it, but I agree with you, no doubt about it. So we'll see how that plays out. But he's been really impressive, man. What kind of impact do you think this Nakobe Dean thing has, man? I thought the way you talked about Nakobe earlier was spot on. I don't think you were too hard on him. I think you were honest and truthful, and it's a reality. It sucks because he was emerging. He finally, I thought, turned the corner on being a viable NFL player. I think he even started to show people like you, Big Sills, like, hey, this guy's not even just a guy. He's like a good player. He's a guy that can make positive plays for a defense, and to have that end like this and with such a gruesome injury that maybe looks like he could miss the start of the 2025 season, it's gut-wrenching. I mean, it sucks for him because I was high on him. I believed in him. I was starting to really believe in him. I feel like he's a good-ass kid, a good-ass dude, which is always an element for me. I tend to root for people too. Not everybody's like that, which is fine, but I like to root for good people, and he certainly seemed like one, but that's a tough one, man. There's no doubt. What kind of impact do you think that has, though, on our defense, for the rest of the playoffs?
I happen to agree with you on almost all you said. Oh, pretty much everything you said there. I mean, he's proven he can play. Okay. Now, one of my things at the beginning of the year about him was health. He played way more football than I thought he was going to play this year. And it's a shame because he was elevating himself week in and week out with the amount of reps he was getting. Remember, he had something like only 273 or 268 reps total as an NFL football player ending this season. And every rep that he got better, and he was getting better and better and better. He was showing quickness. And again, my two things were that I didn't think maybe it was a lack of playing time, and it turned out to be that. Then the other one was obviously they drafted him hurt, was going to be a consistency on whether his health. To me, he reminds me a little bit of Dallas Goedert. Goddard's got the same stuff here. You know what that is? No one's ever questioned Dallas Goedert's ability. Yeah. They questioned his availability.
Right. I agree.
And that's kind of where
how about that run there yesterday? How about that run yesterday by Dallas Goedert?
Man, do you see what's his name, Xavier McKinney, go over and start lecturing the kid going, you got to get that fucker on the ground, guy.
Dude, you got to wrap up, man.
Racing like that.
You got to get low and wrap up, man. That's football fundamental 101 right there. Get low and wrap them up.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, no. And now the impact, see, this is where you have this with Minnesota. Aaron Jones can catch the ball out of the backfield. Now, Kyren Williams can as well, but he's not as efficient because Aaron Jones up in Minnesota did that with the quarterback in New York, Aaron Rodgers. So he's used to that, and they utilize that in the passing game. Plus, you got two exceptional receivers, and let's not forget, Xander, Minnesota's got a damn good tight end up there too. So they got a really good tight end. I think they're going to threaten the seam. This is all going to come down again. If the quarterback can get the ball to all these guys, now you're going to be putting a dude in there in Oren Burke. By the way, kudos to him. He set the fucking tone by knocking that guy out. That's how you start a football game. And I think that's going to give him a little bit of excitement heading into this start. He's going to get the start. I am not starting Trotter, so don't go anywhere near that.
No, I'm not either. I think that's crazy to even think about it this way. You're the guy that played in the playoffs, played in the Super Bowl last year. I mean, come on, you're going to a veteran guy. This is not, guys, as great as it is, this is not the time to like develop rookies in the playoffs. You just you take Oren Burks, you coach him up as best you can, and you live with what you got at the depth in the room. This is not the time to coach up Jeremiah Trotter Jr. on being a linebacker in the NFL. It's just not the time.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a pretty significant loss, but that's going to come down to putting more pressure on the two DTs in front of them.
Yeah, I think the biggest factor
is get more from Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis.
I think the biggest factor is against the Lions, Sills. I think that's the team that not only is the best matchup for taking advantage of that, but they're the one team that will do it. Like Ben Johnson, he will attack that spot. Not every offensive coordinator would do that because sometimes they're just stupid. It's like Kellen Moore.
It's a tough cover.
How do you not have a slant to AJ Brown? Who knows? I don't know how you don't have a slant to AJ.
Laporte's a tough cover. Laporte's a tough cover too.
Yes, he is.
Because he's a pretty good tight end here.
I think he's more than pretty good. I think he's really good. Sam
Laporte. What'd you make of Kellen Moore's day yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm hard on Hurts. I don't think Hurts was great, but I can't sit here and tell you Kellen Moore was great. I think there's an element to me being 100% transparent with everybody. there's an element to me that wonders if some of his passing concepts are the way they are because he feels limited by the quarterback. I don't know if that's true or not. It might not be. I'm not saying he called a good game. I'm not saying he's doing a good job. I'm not saying he's implementing nearly enough of the things Jalen is good at or has been good at in the past. But, he didn't have a good game, but Jalen hasn't had a great game passing all year long. He hasn't been a great passer all year long. And the only time he did have to pass a lot, we were 2-2 in that 4-game stretch. So I think to Kellen, to the point about Kellen, did he have a good game? No. Is there a potential that that's somewhat on Jalen Hurts? I think maybe some of it potentially is on him, but overall, no. I don't think Kellen Moore had a good game. And Nick Sirianni, in a rare instance of brutal honesty, after the game, he was asked about what he thought on the team's offensive performance, and he said, not good. We got to get back to the drawing board. So I don't know if their game plan was just poor coming in. I don't know if Kellen Moore was focused on interviewing for the New Orleans Saints or the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know what went on, but Kellen Moore didn't do a good job. Jalen Hurts didn't do a good job. And because of that, I would say the head coach didn't do a good job. So those are three things that all need to be better. I'm not singling one of them out, but I'm also not letting one of them off the hook. Dan Orlovsky, like I said, he made this video, and everybody's acting like, okay, this is it. Jalen doesn't need any blame. Guys, more than one thing can be true. Not a great game by Kellen Moore, not a great game by Jalen Hurts. Both of them should improve, but maybe they won't even need to improve, and here we'll be marching our way to a freaking Super Bowl.
Well,
I don't know, Stills. It always looks shitty, and they always win. I don't get it.
What I'm going to say is that, if people want to give excuses for Jalen Hurts, you have to give excuses for Kellen Moore. They're tied at the hip. You can't. They're both tied at the hip, and they've both won 15 ball games. You got to get over yourselves. You just can't keep shitting on one guy and pick a narrative to fit your narrative when both the results are the same. One guy's the coordinator's won 15, the quarterback's got 15. You can't just fucking separate and go, well, that's nothing to do with it. That's not true. Okay. What do you make of this, Dom?
I got to run here in a second, all right? Because I got to get some production done.
Okay, this is the last one here. We'll get to supers if you don't mind, Xander.
Yeah,
here.
We got to be quick.
How about this, brother? Here's his 3 wins in the postseason. 13-21 for 131 yards, 2 touchdowns versus the Packers. This was yesterday. 49ers. He was 15-25 for 121 yards, no touchdowns. He was against the Giants. These are his wins. 16-24 for 154 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. So what do you make of those numbers?
That he's the caboose, like you said. And by the way, credit again to Howie Roseman, who is by far, in my opinion, the best GM in football. I know there's some other good guys out there who have done a really good job, but most of those other GMs that have done a good job have a pretty damn good quarterback. And you maybe Howie missed on the quarterback. Maybe it was a Jeffrey Lurie son. I don't know. But he built a roster that you don't need a quarterback to play well. There's no other team in the league that can say
I've
that.
I've never heard of the thing.
Huh?
I've never heard of anything like that.
I know. It's amazing. So I'm giving Howie all the credit. And look, that's what Jalen is this year, guys. 22, he was not the caboose. 22, he was electric. 22, he was MVP level. 22, he moved the ball. 22, he was decisive and quick. 22 was a different quarterback. Jalen Hurts in 2024 is the caboose of this offense. There's no doubt about that. And I don't say that with any breath of hate in me. So you can't say I'm not a hater. I'm just calling it out. This offense is so good, you don't need your quarterback to be great at all. That's pretty wild. Howie Roseman deserves some credit for that. For sure.
He surely does. No question. Yeah. Let's get to the supers, brother.
Let's do it. Ramir checks in. Every game ain't about flashy numbers. Baker had a great game, but his one fumble lost in the game every time the Packers got close. Hurts got his points. Yeah, Ramir, he still left a lot of money on the table, though. Don't you agree?
Don't you think he should have blew that team out with 4 turnovers? I mean, the Eagles should have – that. I agree with Tom Brady. I thought the game was 75-0. I looked up, it's 10-0, and then it became a 6-point game. They dominated. They completely out-dominated that game except on the scoreboard, and the quarterback kept them in it.
Yeah. No doubt. Lord's Grace checks in. A.J. Brown turned into LeVar Burton from reading Rainbow. He wanted to read to the children. I don't know what that is.
Hey, man. Hey, all I know is this guy's checking books out. They're at Parkway Library, bro. I mean, holy cow. This guy's got a library card, and he's breeding Confucius on the sidelines to get inspired.
Look, here's my guy, Underdog. Underdog, I appreciate you, brother. He says, Jalen Hurts is trash, period. Fuck how that fact makes his sack ropers feel. Go cry. Yeah, but Underdog, I don't entirely disagree with you. I like him a little bit more than you. I mean, I think he does have some
he does
commendable things, but like, bro, do you not agree that this team just every week he doesn't look great and every week we win? Like, we just beat a playoff team by double digits and he barely did shit. Like, we don't need look, we could potentially win. Without an elite quarterback.
Do you know, Xander, if they don't win the tsunami that's coming? Do you know the tsunami that's coming? Let me say this.
Do you agree it depends how they lose? Like, let's say they lose 34-31.
Say he plays like he did yesterday and they lose. A tsunami's coming.
I think a tidal wave. What's bigger, a tsunami or a tidal wave?
A tsunami, baby, because it wipes out an entire city.
All right. Well, let's get a tsunami then. That's what's coming.
It'll be a tsunami.
If you lose 34-1 in a shootout,
okay, right, and he throws for 275 yards,
right, you tip your cap to the other team and you move on.
You move on. I got it.
Yeah, Underdog followed up. Aikman took a roster very similar to this and parlayed it into a dynasty. Well, Jalen Hurts is not that, so not happening. One more I think we missed earlier. Jason A-Team, Nolan Smith, elite. He is elite.
I tell you what, he was elite yesterday, man, and he continues to improve. And he is, like Vic says, his issue is going to be size. But I really liked what Nick said today, or after the game about him. He says he's a physical dude, man. You know, he plays bigger than he is. That's a really great quality to have in a player, man.
All right, Sills, I got to run, brother. I appreciate
you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you very
everybody.
much. You got it. Make sure you guys please hit that like button. No question about it. By the way, we'll give you our thoughts on tonight's game too. But also, don't forget, please do me a favor and check in with our friends at BetUS. The YouTube 150, my friends. You got it, man. Tonight's a great example of that. It'll close Wild Card Weekend tonight. All you do is join us and our friends at BetUS for the YouTube 150. That's right. You get a chance to have a sign-in bonus up to $2K, the second and third, or 125%. Crypto, 200% if you're into that, and your $2K sign-in bonus there with your YouTube 150. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Show's National Football Show. Ray Dittinger just said, if you said that Jalen Hurts was average in that football game on Sunday, that's being kind. I mean, you can keep making all the excuses you want, but get this. You could turn around and you have every right to say this to me. Sills, we're winning. That's not going to be a thing until we lose, and kind of how we lose. Correct. There is no doubt they have defined a role for him. If Jalen Hurts goes on and wins the Super Bowl, and he has played the way he has this year, 29-03, not being a major part of it, not turning the football over, they win the Super Bowl. In my opinion, he has more leeway and more runway than any quarterback I have ever seen in the Super Bowl era. I've never seen anything like it. Your quarterback can play like shit in numerous games or play below average or average, and you still win. I mean, look, like I said, look at Jalen Hurts' postseason numbers. Yesterday, 13-21, 131, 2 touchdowns. The 49er win, 15-25, 121 yards, no touchdowns. The Giants, 16-24, 154, and 2 touchdowns. Those are his 3 wins. I mean, those are mediocre numbers. But here, because the team is so well constructed, he doesn't have to be good. He just doesn't have to turn the ball over. And if he's anywhere near decent with high percentage completions and makes a couple plays in the game, that's going to be their remedy. That's their formula. You know, somebody said, Xander was talking about system quarterback. I don't believe in that system quarterback thing. I believe every offense coordinator makes a boutique system for every skill set that a player has. I mean, and do they try to find the same skill set to fit their respected system? Yes. Look at Kyle Shanahan. He's a great example of this. He tried Trey Lance. It was an abomination. Okay? It was an abomination. What kind of quarterbacks does he like? Cerebral, guys who spread the ball around, Sam Darnold guys, Brock Purdy guys, being able to be efficient, being able to be pocket readers. That's who Kyle Shanahan's DNA is. Every offensive coordinator has their own DNA, and they're looking to match that up. Kellen Moore's DNA doesn't match Jalen Hurts' DNA. Do you guys remember what I told you at the beginning of the year? I said, what's Kellen Moore going to do? You really think Kellen Moore is going to change his DNA and become all of a sudden an RPO-style offensive coordinator, and you think that guy is just going to all of a sudden turn Jalen Hurts into Dak Prescott, where they throw for 3,500 yards or 4,500 yards, have the number 1 offense passing and all that? It's never going to happen, and it didn't happen. I turned out to be dead on that Moore was never going to improve the passing game. As a matter of fact, Moore abandoned the passing game. They've abandoned it. They don't throw deep. Hey, Xander, am I right? John said, when's the last time they threw deep passes down the field? They don't throw deep passes down the field anymore. Remember all that motion they started at the beginning of the year in the first four? Hey, Yale, Abe, Bob, do you remember all that motion they had in the first 4 weeks? They abandoned all that. They absolutely abandoned it because the quarterback was struggling on setting protections. They completely banned it because the quarterback is limited. Okay? And Tucci goes, Sills, why are you blame Hurts for what he has? I'm not blaming him. I'm telling you what he has. It's not a blame. Look, I've counted 86 times today. I said you have a great team, and your quarterback's average. What's the problem with that? Okay, what's the problem? You have a great football team, and you have an average quarterback. You can win Super Bowls with an average quarterback. It's been done before. What's your problem? Just because why? You don't like what you're hearing about your quarterback? At the end of the day, just watch and look at what you're watching. I don't need to give you a commentary on Jalen Hurts' play in any playoff game that he's won in his career. I really don't have to. If you just watch the games with some sort of objectivity. If you don't want to watch the games with objectivity and you want to think he's the second coming, fine. That's a you thing. No problem. But that notion, well, he wins. He makes everything possible for you to say this. That's not a quarterback stat because he has very little impact. And I've been calling him a caboose. He was not the caboose in 22. He was the engine. Hurts is a one-year wonder. Had a great year in 22. He really did. I voted for him for MVP with my MVP vote with the Maxwell Awards. I've told you that. I showed it to you. Okay? But since 22, he's been less than impressive. And it's regressed. The Eagles know this. That's why they have built a really good roster. Okay? I mean, I'm not telling you anything that you can't win the Super Bowl. Okay? I'm not telling you that. Hands of fate, Sills. What technique could the Eagles do to help out Oren Burks at linebacker? Sorry for spamming. Just curious on what you would see. Cheers. They could move him closer to the line of scrimmage and not have him sit back in that zone a little bit off the ball like you saw Jacoby. Jacoby started getting a really good feel for it and started getting back, and he was starting to cheat because Oren Burks because Zach Bond was showing him how you could cheat back there and start to cheat and getting to protections when it comes to the passing game. He's going to struggle in the passing game. Oren Burks is not going to struggle in the run game. He'll struggle in the pass game, if anything. Covering tight ends, backs out of the backfield, screens, shit like that, wham blocks. It's not because he can't do it. It's just because he hasn't had the reps this year. Remember, he's a scout team guy, or he's a second and third team guy who is going in. I'll tell you what, though, that special teams play he made to start the game, the kid's got great energy. I'm looking forward to seeing him get out there with more reps and being able to put him in a ball game now with a week of practice. One of the reasons why I would imagine that they're going to practice today they did practice today was that they want to fix some of the issues that they had in that ball game on offense, and they want to get him reps. He needs live contact reps this week. That's what I would do for Oren Burks, is get him live contact reps. Okay? So that's how they can help him. Move him up on the line of scrimmage. You don't want to let those guys get a head of steam going and have them guys go out there and do stuff like that, okay? Okay, listen to this. This guy's not wrong with this. If Hurts doesn't turn the ball over, we win every game. That's probably correct. That's right. I would take this. I would rather have this. No touchdowns, no turnovers than 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. or 2 turnovers. Because you could lose the game with those 2 turnovers. Do we not agree, Yale? If the Eagles turn that ball over 2 times, like the way the Packers did, Eagles lose that ball game. They lose that ball game. Tonight's game, Rams and Vikings in Arizona, in Glendale. I think this is going to be one of the better games to close out the wild card weekend. If I have to pick, I'm going Vikings. I'm going Vikings. I just think they're the better team. I think they're the better football team. I am going Vikings. Okay? All right, guys, I appreciate it. Guys, we're absolutely great. Please hit that like button. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Big Joe, Xander, I appreciate you guys so much. We will see you tomorrow, and we will see you on the flip side.